Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday Night Motorsport here at the GSRC. As always, we're starting the night by bringing you the NasCar trucks from Auto Club Speedway in California. Tonight, we've got slightly reduced numbers compared to what we have had, so we'll have all the drivers in one split. No need for us to try and double stream or do anything fancy. Just after we figured out how to do it, the numbers have dropped down to about 40 drivers, which is a really lovely number to have in one split for this Speedway race. I'm William Banks. Alongside me is Sam Chapman on the pots and pans and providing co-comms. And this should be absolutely spectacular. Every Truck Series race has been spectacular so far, and I don't see any reason for this one to be any different. We've got 15 seconds left of qualifying, so after that, we will take you through the grid before the race gets underway. And these are your conditions for the race. 31 degrees track temperature, 21 degrees air temperature, 15 kilometers an hour wind density. It's a 3.2 kilometer track. After the Truck Series, we will be heading on over for the second of our offerings of tonight, which will be the
That's the supercars at Motegi tonight. Motegi East, so the slightly shorter course.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so that'll be quite good. And we'll try and broadcast both, but I'm not sure if the server's been pushed back yet, so it could be a push. I've just got the current standings for the Truck Series up on screen as well, Liam, just to run through the top 10.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, sorry, I got stuck on the word Magello. And I was like, it's not Magello, it's not Magello. I couldn't get that word out of my head. I'm like, it's not Magello. It is, of course, Motegi. Yeah, so these are the current standings for the Truck Series. Jackson Rahana fairly clear in the lead, which I wasn't necessarily expecting. He's got a 28-point lead over Daniel Yemen, with Dimitri Agafos in third on 106, drawing with Trent Lavis, also on 106, with Garth Duffy on 104, and Chris Noble on 102. So very, very tight there in the top six, except for Jackson Rahana, who's got a bit of a march on the competition. Then behind them, they have Sam Stride, Kobe Cowham, and Adam Lavis and Lewis Greyhead as the rest of the top 10. And we've had some really strong drives for those that haven't gone with water. We saw Lewis Greyhead having his incident in particular at Watkins Glen last time out. A couple of the big names having incidents and not really maximising that. So those will effectively become drop rounds by the time we get to the end of the season. So that I expect those rankings to close up a little bit once we get more towards the pointy end. And these are your qualifying order for the 50-minute race tonight. Not 50-minute lap race, it will be 65 laps. And more likely to be 30 minutes depending on yellow flags. So on pole is Colby Cohen, alongside him is Aidan Schultz. Then on row 2 is Trent Lavis and Adam Lavis, with Mitchell McLeod and Chris Noble behind them. And then on the 4th row is Sharp and Oliver, with Baldwin and Rahana at the back of the top 10. Then in 11th place, we have Kevin Coleman with Troy Davidson alongside him. In 13th is Julian Mucky with Ashley Lear in 14th. Then we have Gosner and McNamara on the 8th row, Otto and Patan on the 9th, and Stride and McClure at the back of the top 20. 21st is Fitz with 30 artists alongside him. Then we have Samora and Snedden behind them, with Lola and Tyman next up. Then is Koch and Pedersen in 27th and 28th, with Cousins and Barker making up the top 30. Then we get to the back of the pack with Lindsay Kearns, Clayton Smith, Millard and King in 5th and 4th, Simpson and Healy behind them. Then right at the back is Latta and Greathead, who did not set qualifying times, so we do not know their true pace. As you see, the cars lining up in two lines behind the safety car. The safety car will pull away, and Schultz and Cohen will get this one underway in a few moments' time. And Sam, I've just lost the live time. It's back.
That's good. So hopefully it stays together. But yeah, it may be a case of watching, and I'll jump in from there too. Because people have been fiddling around behind you today.
Yeah, excellent. Just keep an eye on the streams, because yeah, it's dropping in and out. Currently in though, so we might be okay. But let's see how we go. But the cars lined up, the lights go green, and they will put the pedal to the metal, and they will get us racing here at the Speedway. Everyone's staying well behaved for now. I got the being led away by the leader. There's no moves in the top of the pack so far. Actually, Mitch McLeod has just got past Adam Lavis, so he's gained a spark of response, gained low down the field in the others. So he's going to lightly start as a Stain Stanton, who is up free. You can see them fanning out now, going 3-4 wide as they approach the second of the, effectively the second of the 2 turns at this racetrack, and they're going 3-4 wide through the corner. Plenty of width on offer, so plenty of lines to take. It'll be interesting to see if this aggressiveness stays throughout the whole race, because otherwise, I don't think everyone's going to make it to the end. Call me crazy, but I just suspect there might be an incident, and there's an incident already, and they just about get away with it. You won't want any more contact than that from Mitchell McLeod and Adam Lavis, the 2 that made contact there, but it just about get away with it and get out of the wall. But that could have been horrendous with the car potentially pitching towards the inside if there had been any more stronger contact on the rear fencing there. But Robin is racing, so play on for now as we continue with the whole pack getting away clearly so far. And just, you know, just giving some technical advice on why we continue.
I do love my live technical advice, Liam, from the experts. This is always handy.
Yeah, Josh knows great, isn't he? Love that guy. He always does that, always lending us out with a hand. As Sam gets back to the grips with producing broadcasts, Jackson Rayhana's up 5 places. He's just moved into 5th. You can see him there going side by side with Adam Lavis, and he's on the high line and looks like he's going to get that job done. And indeed, looks like he has. So Jackson Rahana is the yellow car in that pack in 5th place. He's got the blue car with Mitch McLeod in front of him. And then in front of them is Trent Lavis, running the same livery as Adam Lavis. That distinctive green and white that we see him race pretty much every week that he is not producing the broadcast. Every day that he is not producing the broadcast for. You see, as this race has evolved, they've stopped being side by side quite so much. Lots of cars running side by side, but no 3s and 4s further down the pack now, like we had in the opening stanza, as everyone sort of filters into their positions and tries to put a more strategic spin on when they're going to go for moves, what they're going to do. Because if you sit outside of the draft for too long, you just will not have the momentum. You will plummet down the order. So ideally, you need to be behind someone, then pop out to make the move, and then get back in behind someone. You do that filtering between 2 lanes, take advantage when other people ahead of you move out of their lanes. And it gets very tactical at this stage of the race, and will be for most of the remainder. Aiden Schultz leads this one. He's got Cobby Cohen behind him. Then it is Lavis, McLeod, Rayhana, and Baldwin, and they're your main protagonists so far. As we see some of the main protagonists going 3 wide. That's Cohen, McLeod, and Lavis 3 wide for that corner, all keeping it clean, giving each other plenty of space. And Lavis remains in 3rd place, but he's going to stay there because Mitch McLeod's put a move on the low line, and Rayhana's betting on the high line, so he's tucking in behind Lavis and just staying out there low. He seems to have washed up a little bit there, lost some momentum, might have had to get out the throttle, and that's going to allow Joe Baldwin to perhaps mount a challenge in that black car. Can't quite get alongside, so he sneaks in behind Jackson Rayhana. We'll try to use that to gain some momentum and make a move potentially in this corner, or will he just sit on the high line with Rayhana? I think he's just going to sit there, not tempted to drop down to the low line, which is good racing. You see how the cars are relatively staying in their lanes. That's sort of the etiquette in NASCAR racing. You want to stay in your lane and once you're in a corner, not go swapping lanes unless you are very, very confident you can do so without causing a collision. So when the pack is this tight, best to just pick your lane, stay in it, because that's just the etiquette for NASCAR racing. As we watch Lavis trying to make a move on Cohen for 2nd, with Rayhana pressing in him on the high line. Interestingly, both lines seem to have a very, very similar pace to them. There's no distinct advantage being won by going to the low line or the high line at the moment, so that should lead to really good racing throughout all this one, because every line seems to be roughly equal pace, which is just the holy grail for getting side-by-side racing. Rayhana and Lavis are absolutely side-by-side right now, only 100 per second behind them. And Lavis just managed to hold on for Rayhana. We're currently watching Tristan Coach. He's up a few spots, and there's a big collision. Huge collision. At least 10 cars involved there towards the back of the field. Looks like Phil King, Sam Stride, 2 of the highest up that are involved in this. That as was Clayton Smith, I believe, John Simpson, Tierman, Lawler, Pedersen, King, Kearns, Zamora, all seem to have been involved, and we have our first safety car of the race. So while Sam sorts out those technical issues, hopefully we'll also get a replay of that incident as soon as we can bring that to you.
Yeah, I think I've sorted out my technical issues, which is good. We've lowered the bit rate and everything looks green, so well done, Josh Zuno, for that advice. But yes, that was a massive accident. I sort of cut to the back there because I could see it brewing. There was a lot of shuffling going on, a lot of cars very close to each other. But let's see if we can find a replay for you, Liam.
Yeah, let's have a look. It'd be great to see what the cause of that was. Not surprised, we have so many cars going side by side, but I have been pretty clean for a few laps there.
Okay, so we're already deep in it by this point.
Yes, we very much are. Some beautiful cars out there tonight, though, isn't there?
There is.
And just while we're getting that, I can let you know that a bunch of the leaders are pitting. So Cohen and Coleman have set out, but Schultz, Lavis, Rayhana, McLeod, they're all in the pits, as is Adam Lavis, Chris Noble, Ashley Lear. Basically, most of the field have decided to go into the pits.
Yeah, okay.
Whilst we get this replay.
So there was an accident ahead, and as often happens, people react to the accident without necessarily you try and avoid the accident first, and whether or not someone's beside you or not sometimes is secondary, as you're just trying to avoid it. So yeah, quite a few guys caught up in that, unfortunately, in that backer end of the pack.
Yeah, when something unexpected happens in front of you, it can be really hard to avoid some sort of contact and causing some sort of incident.
Hive of activity on pit lane, though.
Yeah, literally everybody. And look at the smoking for some of the cars as well.
No.
That's not what we want to see. That car looks to be exiting pit lane. So hopefully he hasn't reached his box yet, because if he's reached his box, then he has not got that repaired, and he's going to need that repaired. Otherwise he would not be, certainly won't be at the sharp end. Might be able to take it round, but I think he'll be doing his best impression of a snail if they get back out there.
So a few guys haven't stopped as well. You've got Cowan, Coleman, Gosner, Lawler, Heaney, McClure and Snadden have not stopped. They're all up a bunch of places. So they'll be hoping that strategy works for them. Yeah, I'm not sure where we're at with fuel and tyres. But yeah, they'll be hoping that strategy works and they don't get caught up towards the end, or maybe they can get another safety car and come back on fresher tyres. There are another couple of guys in the pits as well, so potentially some guys going deciding to pit after the fact here in Snadden and Lawler.
Yeah, which is an interesting decision. It's interesting that just the 5 decided to risk it and not go for the stop. It does make you think that they've probably got it wrong, but you just never know. This all depends on if there will be another safety car and when it will be. They may be able to solidify those positions, or they may drop back down if the rest of the race doesn't go their way. But what they have done is roll the dice. Now, I'm not surprised the likes of Coleman, Gosner, Heaney, McClure roll the dice. They were quite far back, but Colby Cohen was in the lead pack. He may actually have been, I think he was actually leading. So, very interesting that he has done the opposite to all of his rivals. You think if you're leading, you'd want to do the same. But it's also possibly the case that him not pitting meant that those behind could react. So he doesn't pit. First car behind him decides they're going to pit, and then everybody else does the same. So Cohen may well have been left out to dry here. And I hope for his sake that he hasn't, because he was driving a fantastic race. So let's hope things work out for him. Jackson Rohana is the first of those that pitted. He's in 6th place, which just shows you how many of the field have it. And the thing is, he hasn't given up much track position, has he? Because he was in the top 4. And Kobe Hakoum has now pitted. He's dropping. No, he's out.
Oh.
Is he disconnected?
Sure.
So we've lost Colby Cohen by the looks of it. And
That
Kevin
green.
Coleman will now lead the way as we get back to green flag racing. He's got Reece Gosner behind him, then Heaney, then Rayhana, the lead car of those that pitted. We are watching Gosner in the distinctive neon green livery. Let's call it a neon green. And you can see the cars behind swarming. There's contact there. Is that contact? Yes, huge
Massive
contact. Car going round. I think that's Shane McClure has gone round. He's turned into Mitch McLeod. People diving all over the apron to try and avoid the contact. And McLeod manages to recover the spin and get going, so
Under
props
yellow
for
again.
that. But we do have our second safety car, and then that was a unsafe rejoin in the background there, so that'll be someone getting a penalty either post-race or from race control, I would bet, as Mitch McLeod makes it very, very obvious he's going to dive into the pits because he has a metric ton of damage. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that because Americans hate the metric system, so he's got an imperial ton of damage there.
Yep, an imperial ton. We can't use proper measurements here, Liam. That's unacceptable.
I will have to have another look at how that one
so
started.
it
We
looks
just
like it
caught
started with
sight
Aiden
of the
Schultz.
start of that one. Looked like the yellow car, apologies, I'm not entirely sure who that was, just started to lose the back end, and I wonder if in starting to lose the back end, they haven't been able to recover it, and they've just touched the car next to them. So we're just watching Aiden Schultz here, and I hope that'll give us a good view of what happened. So watch car 89. Just get tapped. And the car that tapped him was absolutely fine. Oh, that's brutal for Schultz. It didn't look like it was a big moment for the car on his in the middle lane there, so just above Aiden Schultz. Didn't have a big moment. It was just enough for him to tap Schultz's rear end, and I just completely sent him careening into the car in the top lane. So this is Shane McClure. It's the car beneath him, the yellow and blue car. If you watch it, it's gonna have it. Netcode. That looks like that might have been netcode. A smaller incident between McClure and the car next to him, which sent the car next to him plowing into Schultz. I wonder if we could just get another look at that initial incident to see if there was a bit of netcode that started that, or whether there was genuine contact. To watch this closely, Shane McClure pulls alongside. Yep. And there. See, it looks like there wasn't any contact, but it kind of behaves like there was.
I think there was a little bit of contact. I suspect, I think it's Heaney probably just went a little wider than what those two cars were on the outside, and then probably had a bit of a touch and had to correct it a little bit, and then came into the line of Schultz behind, and that kicked it off because, you know, this is a 5-lane, well, bordering on 6-lane speedway, so it's you can go that wide, but that's not a good rejoin. You need to just hold brakes there. That's unfortunate for the car behind.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't optimal, was it? It's not what we'd like to see, but again, it's sort of understandable how you could do that in that circumstance. He just wanted to get out for the middle of the track, but he's just not got it right, has he?
No, you're trying to... I mean, it's a hard one, right? Because you don't want to be on the track either. But crossing over, 5 lanes of traffic is also not the answer, because you're sort of praying for no issues at that point. Now, Coleman in first is the only guy who hasn't pitted yet. Everyone else, from him down to Snadden in 25th, was pitting on lap 8 or lap 9, and then it looks like pretty much from Heaney onwards, they have pitted under this safety car period. So we'll have slightly fresher tyres again. So clearly they're expecting a bit of fall off in tyres tonight, which despite the tyres do fall off a lot in these cars, and this is, while it's a very quick track, there is you do still need to lift off and have a bit of braking and that sort of thing. It's no Daytona, it's no completely flat out circuit. So these guys clearly trying to get an advantage through that. I'll be interested to see what guys like McLeod and obviously Schultz, who was right up the top there, and Lawler can do with these slightly fresher tyres. But clearly the other guys, your Ray Harness, Borgans, Adam Lavis, Nobles, they've all decided to stick with, that they're only 4 laps older at this point, which is not a massive delta. So we go green now. Looks like Liam has left me. He's on mute, so we'll take this away. Rayhan is very quick to take the lead here. Joe Baldwin coming in hot behind as well. Coleman, I will expect, will lose positions relatively quickly now with this tyre delta and such a large track. There's a car off in the background, which we'll revisit later. Looks like it won't cause a safety car because it went directly off track and didn't contact anyone else. But these guys up front are all in it. Joe will be desperately trying to catch Rayhana here, but Rayhana's already pulling a bit of a gap, and they're lining up behind him to have a go here and have a go at Joe. So Coleman's not giving it up. He's taking that middle line, followed by Adam Lavis and Chris Noble, going side by side behind him, and then there's an absolute gaggle of cars behind that, taking him forward. But relatively clean getaway, which is good to see. We'll see what happens to this pack. These two side by side, Lavis and Noble, still with Ashley and McNamara following suit. I wonder if any of these guys are just going to be quite happy to sit behind and save any fuel and save any tyres. We'll see how it pans out. But yeah, Jackson Rayhan with the fastest lap of the race, so 40.580, so 0.3 faster almost than Joe Baldwin behind, which is a massive delta in these sort of cars around this sort of track. Now, could he be using more tyres? Potentially, and the draft is very useful around here, but I can't imagine, unless these guys fight, that he'll be able to just ride off into the distance around a track like this. It's not entirely a short course, so that pack racing aspect is very important. So this is McNamara. He's got Coleman for company right there, right close to the edges, not leaving anything to the imagination on the outside there. But if we look through the field as well, so some of the bigger movers, Nick Fodiatis is up 13 spots here in 9th place, so he's doing a wonderful job. He clearly loves the inside line, so all these guys are taking the outside line. He's decided, nah, bugger that, we're going to go 5 lanes down and take that inside line. Potentially go through a bit more tyre that way, but a bit less fuel. So we'll see what happens to him as that race goes forward, but he's done a great job on strategy so far as well. Jamie Barker up 17 spots, so he is the current hard charger, followed closely by John Simpson in 19th place. All part of this pack right now, so you see all the red on your screen, that means that it's less than half a second difference, and outside of Jackson Rayhana, everyone's half a second difference down to that top 20 to the 24th place in Zamora. Lots of side-by-side action here still, all the way through that top 20. The pack then breaks off a little bit post that, but we'll see whether they can catch up as time goes on. Ashley and Trucker are having a massive battle along with Adam Lavis. So Lavis and Trucker will probably be doing some work together. Maybe a bit of bump drafting here and there, but then also I'd say Noble and Lear are working in the same team here too. Very beneficial in these sort of cars, but you do still have to be quite careful with a button pass, just with the way that you don't want to unload these rear ends, because there is no weight over them really, and but they do have a fair bit of downforce, so you can still get quite a lot of grip at those high speed sort of sections. Jackson Rayhan has gone off into the distance really. I mean, as a matter of speaking, he's still only 1.1 seconds ahead, but that's a fair way ahead in this sort of environment. And that has been absolutely aided by these guys continuing to go side by side behind. Adam Lavis, they're touching the wall by the looks, and losing quite a lot of pace, and potentially positions, to Troy Davidson and Mark McNamara. Oh, massive accident. So that's Lavis. So he's We'll check who touched him. I think it could have been Fodiatis even, a teammate. So it could be AER and AER Violence. We'll have to go back and have a look at that soon. But we're under yellow once again. So now
we are, and it's time for me to reinsert myself.
Hey!
Very, very good job, Sam. Apologies for that. I may have screwed up and need to deal with something. Waiting to hear on how much I've mucked up today. But that is not for the stream. That is for me. But if I could quiet again, you know that I'm in trouble with my mom. Anyway, so yes. Sam doing a really good job. Thank you for holding down the fort there. Rayhana commanding lead, which is going to be absolutely erased by this safety car. Doing everything right though so far to take a win. Let's see if we can get some footage of that incident and what has taken Adam Lavis out of the hunt here. Just want to pick up something we saw earlier. We saw Colby Cohen from the lead suddenly disappear. He has actually got back out on track and is a lap down. So really don't know what's happened there. It's something that we'll have to see if we can figure out after the race. So here we are. Ash.
Okay, so he's got a bit of a touch there. And then Fodiatis has gone into Adam because of that touch. So I'd have to have a look and see exactly what caused that touch. But, and then he's got it back. He's actually done a pretty good job to get that off track, you got to say. So credit to him for that. But let's maybe do an onboard shot of that and see what's happened to him here. So he's going around. He's sort of come across a little bit, and then he's just got that touch and gone into Adam. So hard one to rule on. I'll leave that in race control's capable hands.
You'd need more footage, wouldn't you? Because it looks like he may have come down on the car behind, and that's what's caused the tap in the rear. We'd have to see exactly where all the cars are, but there's an absolute mad dash in pit lane. Those pit crews are really earning the money. I guarantee you they're earning the money. They're not just sat there. They are changing the tyres on these cars, putting fuel in, and doing all the things to make sure that their driver is ready to go. And there's a mad dash off pit lane. You'd expect Jackson Rayhana to win that dash, and indeed he does. David Lawler's going to come out in second, with Gary Cousins behind him. No, Jamie Barker, Lawler, and Cousins all stayed on track. It's Rayhana, Leah, and Noble 1, 2, 3 at the moment, with McNamara in fourth, Davidson in fifth, Patton in sixth. Once you take into account those who have pitted versus those who haven't. Interesting joke in the pack is David Lawler. So Barker and Cousins in first and third. They both pitted on lap 8, which is 16 laps ago at this point. It's quite a while ago. Lawler pitted on lap 12. So you've sort of got, between the top 3 cars, you've got 2 different strategies. And then you've got the strategy that the majority of the field is going with, which is they've reset their pits on this lap, and that is led by Rayhana. And it's pretty much everyone else in the field except for Heaney, who pitted on lap 15 and would probably do well to take a pit stop here, I would imagine. And then you've got those that are a lap or more down, including Coham, who is, I think, still in the race, but Pedersen, Gosner, Kears, and Sean McClure look out of it. We did see that message from Sean saying that none of the cars were doing so pulled out, which is probably a decision. It's probably best not to go around a speedway if you can't see the other cars. Just, I think that was a big brain move right there from Sean. We're very sorry to hear that. Technical issues have ruined your racing. Hopefully, you can still get some enjoyment out of following our cast of it, or perhaps getting involved in the supercars later tonight, when we see them at Motegi, not Mugello.
Yeah,
so
that's right. And I'm hopeful for Kobe Cowham, who was a lap down. He is the first of the lapped cars, so hopefully he gets a lucky dog and can get his way back into this race. As well, obviously Fodiatis has dropped right back, still in the lead lap at this point, but right to the back of the pack there. Dave Oliver is pitting as well, and is right at the back of that pack too. So definitely a shuffled field. If we look at the winners and losers, the Lavis brothers have had a bit of a nightmare. Adam is down 24 spots to 28th, and Trent's down 22 spots to 25th. So a difficult night for the AER boys. As well, you've got Schultzy. So Schultzy's making his way back up. He was right at the back of the pack after that incident earlier, but he's back up to 18th. So that's a decent effort. He also just pitted this time around too, so he's on the optimal strategy for this current time. And then the top gainer on this current strategy, so as in pitted within this safety car period, would be Clayton Smith, who's up 17 spots. But now we have another green flag land. We're back.
Excellent. Love it when the cars are going full throttle and not just moseying around behind a safety car, as do we all. Jamie Barker leads back away with Lawler in second, Cousins in third, and Rayhana looking ever dangerous in fourth. In fact, made up third. He's already made up one position. Be interested to see how long it takes him to get past the others that are leading this race. Kobe Cohen, just follow up on a story, did not evidently get his lap back, so he's still running a lap down, which is a heartbreak for him. We're on lap 26 of 65 and only 25 minutes in, so this race could go to laps or it could go to time, depending on how the safety cars play out for the rest of this one. Look at the speed Rayhana has got there, pulling underneath Lawler, and there's some a bit of a wiggle going on there. That car's back end sort of looked like an octopus tentacle out of water, just flapping about everywhere. But he's managed to pull it together and get it going. So Barker's in the lead, Leah in second, Rayhana in third. And we have not been joining the commentary box. We did have Starkey in the commentary box with us for a second, but he has disappeared back out of it. So that is Ashley Leah in second place in the AlphaTauri. So one of those cars, that car that's just running the high line, is actually a lap down. It is not in this fight. Hence why he's always taking the high line, trying to get out of the way, but still keep running because he wants to run as hard as he can, because he's still in his own race against the others that are lap down.
So this is 3 wide for the lead here, Liam, as well. So doesn't this... oh, it spells trouble. But, yeah, there are 5 lanes. It's almost 4 wide here right now. So Leah, Rayhana, Noble. Mitch McLeod is absolutely making positions too. We've seen him be quick in these cars before. And he qualified pretty well in 52. So, but they're going largely 2 abreast now, although there looks like a 4 wide operation going on a little bit further back in the pack. The closest gap I can see is 6/10 with Mookie back in that 3 wide situation, but otherwise down to, other than a gap to Phil King, down to 31st, we've got everyone in very, very close company, which is good to see.
I think what we're seeing here is a quickly developing two-way fight for the lead between Leah and Rayhana. Rayhana running the low line, Leah on the high line, and the leaders swapping about between the two of them. Rayhana holds it just about at the moment, and literally as I say that, their names swap again, and then you got Noble and McLeod behind them. So the lap cars have started to shuffle back, and now the top 4 cars on track are the top 4 cars in this race, and they are Rayhana, Leah, Noble, and Davidson. And how important is it that Leah has got his wingman, Chris Noble, right there with him? Of course, they both want to win, but they know they might be able to work together to try and push themselves ahead of Rayhana. So it'll be interesting to see if they do start to give each other a bit of a bump draft to try and make the most of that potential team advantage that they've got. But Rayhana is running the low line, which seems to be slightly advantageous at the moment, with Mitch McLeod in 4th being a bit of a joker there. He could do whatever the hell he wants with Davidson and then Patton and then Baldwin. You can just see on the outside of your pick as we sit on board with Fitz. He's going to run the low line behind Baldwin. Baldwin's going to try and sneak in ahead of Patton there, get alongside him. Looked like he was washing up there. Hopefully they haven't made contact. But Baldwin has slipped behind Fitz through that corner. And now you can see, interestingly, Patton there in that car with the My Private Seller on the back. He can basically decide who with Fitz and Baldwin is going to get the slipstream, except Baldwin is just pulled alongside him. So he's not going to give it to Baldwin, is he? But Fitz can just sit behind him here and potentially get an advantage, while Baldwin is relying on the stream from Davidson up ahead. So depending on how high he washes up, and Patton sticks there, which should give Fitz a bit of an advantage to stay with these two. But he just can't do anything with it at the moment because he doesn't want to make it 3 wide, being very, very sensible, just sitting behind Patton, hoping that at some point Patton will drag him above Baldwin. But Patton needs to, Patton's just got in behind Troy Davidson to make sure he's getting a benefit from the slipstream, and he will not be defenseless against Baldwin. And that battle continues as they continue to go 2 wide for the lead of this one. Leah and Rayhana locking horns for the last 4 or 5 laps.
Yes, they are. And the thing for Rayhana is he's got 2 teammates that he's fighting with, and that makes things increasingly difficult. And those 2 teammates no longer have to deal with the two AER boys working together either. So they've got a fast charging Mitch McLeod behind as well, who'll be waiting for his opportunity. But yeah, you got to wonder how long this downwards line, this bottom line for Rayhana works for. It's worked for him so far. Be interested to see if it takes anything more or less out of the car throughout the stint. But yeah, he's riding solo, very solo, far away from the other cars around him through that corner, but he's able to come up and then take that spot back. But those guys on the high line, you see immediately they're just gaining time throughout that period. I think Rayhana wants the high line now. No, he's going to take the low line still. I was thinking he was going to potentially block off that high line, but clearly he still thinks that lower line is the option here. And it's McLeod right on the tail there.
Yeah, and you can see him trying to figure out which side he wants to go of Chris Noble. In the end, opts to go for the low line, perhaps copying what he's seen ahead from Rayhana. It seems to work for him because he looks to be clearly in third place there, and perhaps even gaining on Ashley Leah. I mean, look at that. They're going to come out side by side. He's going to come out absolutely neck and neck with Ashley Leah. Ashley Leah will be hoping for a little bit of a push from Noble behind him. Instead, Noble's tucked in behind McLeod, so he's beating his teammate ahead of helping his teammate, which is, honestly, I applaud that, quite frankly. And, yeah, the two of them continue to battle.
Yes, they do, and we are stuck on this front view, but there are absolute battles all through the field at the moment, all the way down to 28th. Is everyone in very close quarters to one another. This is for 13th as a guide. Adam Lavis is still trying to make his way back up through the pack. He's in 23rd, so he is getting there. But it's and actually we're only on lap 35 or 65. There's still 30 laps to go. Anything could happen in this. To make it up front. We've seen Pit Strategy play a massive role in this before. It's a slow car on the inside there. You've got Oliver down here trying to make some time as well. He's down 17 spots, so he's trying to make that back with Photiatis for company, who was also in an incident early on. It's a classic case of NasTrucks being, it's keeping out of trouble can be your best friend, but your other best friend is a fast repair. So, and being able to get back out there. So, yeah, we've got Cousins as well. So he pitted lap 8. So be interested to see what his pace looks like compared to the guys who pit on lap 23. Is there that massive tyre fall off or not? Seems as though Liam's in trouble with his mum again, so I'll take this from here. We might just jump back to the front because these guys are still battling. Rayhana has actually managed to get himself a little bit of a lead. I reckon McLeod and Noble have had a bit of a battle. We have lost Lear to a certain extent. He's dropped back a little bit from this, still doing okay, but certainly not in that top 3 battle right now, and we'll be looking to try and make that back. Blake Fitz has been doing a wonderful job, actually, up to 4th spot at the moment, up 17 positions, so excellent job from him. We were on board with him earlier when he was running in 8th spot and fighting hard with Joe Baldwin. Also Clayton Smith up 22 spots at this point, and side by side once again. I'd imagine he's been side by side for most of the race if he's up 22 spots. So yes, Rayhana and McLeod do seem to be breaking away to a certain extent, and we'll see if they work together. Both of them are pretty good operators in these, so I'll be interested to see if Mitch decides to give him a bit of a bump draft and try and get away from Noble behind. If these two can break away, they can work together and lock this race down. But they still haven't quite broken that toe entirely. They're up now to 1.1 seconds on the cars behind, which is quite significant around here. So, and Nigel Patton seems to have no interest in letting Chris Noble just continue without any further pressure. In fact, there's a crisscross and there's an accident behind as well. So looks like... And Trucker's involved. Oh, well, Trucker's in pit lane, actually. I'm not sure if he was involved in the accident, but there certainly was a bit of wobbling going on. Didn't look like anything major. The track is still clear, and we have not got another yellow. I think that'll be our 4th yellow for the night if we got one. So that's good to see. But yeah, these guys have seemed to quieten down a little bit. Just on with Phil Otto now. He's got Aiden Schultz for company, who was quick earlier on. He's trying to make this bat. Accident ahead. So Davidson involved. Yeah, there's a hit there. And yellow. So yeah, running iRacing yellows now. So that those yellows are getting thrown when there is an accident of a certain size on track automatically. That's usually how NASCAR series operate. The iRacing Yellow series, system is quite good. We were struggling to think of how we would use it, particularly early on when we had those 60 car splits, just because it would almost always be yellow effectively, just because of the size of the split. But with the 40 car splits that we're looking at now, that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. So it is interesting now that we've dropped down, into 2 splits, that we actually don't need them as much. I would say there are probably other competing factors. I know the supercars, the Logitech supercars is on tonight, so that would be taking away some of our key drivers or people that would be watching or supporting those teams in that. That's a big operation, so good luck to those guys. But yeah, still nearly 40 cars out there, and everyone's coming to pit lane. So I would say most of them will want to go to the end with this, although they could be double waved yellows or the yellows, I can't remember what they're called now, the yellows where you get to reset that final lap. It's not just that set number of laps. You can have more laps than that within NasTrucks and NASCAR. Joe Baldwin seems to be one of very, very few guys that has decided against pitting here, and that makes a lot of sense because he actually went into pit lane 2 laps earlier, which turns out to be an absolute masterstroke, because he was still close enough to the pack that he will now come out in first position with tyres that are only 2 laps older. So this has gone from good to bad to very good for Joe.
Okay. So I went to sort out things, and apparently Joe's now in the lead. So run me through what's happened. I assume Harder's in 3rd and he's pitted, and Baldwin pitted on lap 39. So I assume we're behind yellows. There's been an incident. Baldwin's pitted on the lap the incident's occurred, and it's put him in the lead.
Yeah, so Baldwin pitted a lap or 2 before the yellow came out, and it's just ended up, it's one of those coin toss pit lane sort of sequences, and it's just absolutely worked in his favour, and now he's not got much of a tyre delta really at all. In fact, in some ways it could even be positive because they might have a bit of warmth in them. But has been able to jump the entire pack, so very good for Joe.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's good to see. And then Mitch McLeod in 2nd, Rehana in 3rd. That's going to be spicy to the end. Then the Patan and Noble, we saw them fighting before. Actually, Lears dropped back down 7th. Clayton Smith is up in 8th, up 24 spots. So he's having a spectacular race to go from 32nd to 8th. I think anybody watching the stream would be happy with a race like that. Got 22 laps left, and the lap times are... I imagine we're going to go to time if we've got 22 laps left with only 10 minutes to go. So I think this will end up being a 50-minute race. Would you agree with that assessment, Sam?
Yeah, I would, because the laps we're doing are just over 40 seconds. So if we've got more than 20 laps to go, this will be time certain.
Yeah, so we're looking at a time certain race, 10 minutes to go plus 1 lap, I believe. Joe Baldwin will lead them away. As you can see, that orange car is lapped traffic. That is not Mitchell McLeod. Mitchell McLeod is a blue car behind Baldwin in second. So there's a few lapped cars that are, I think they're the ones just hugging that inside lane. So we just see how they behave on restart. I have to say congratulations to all the lap cars that were mixed in at the last restart, because you did a really good job of staying clean. So I think a lot of the rest hasn't gone your way. You should pat yourselves on the back for doing that very, very safely. That's always something I hate, and honestly, when it's me, I just retire the car because I just can't handle the trying to run with the leaders and the etiquette there. But we're back underway, and we're just on board with Nigel Patton. He's got a lap car to his inside. Don't have to worry about that. His first car that he's worried about is that yellow car of Jackson Rayhana that we've become very familiar with over the 40 minutes of this broadcast. He is in third place, and then McLeod is a blue car in second, and Baldwin, the black car at the front. Nice to see all the cars with different colours. Makes our life a bit easier in the commentary box. And there's a bit of a gap already between Rayhana and Patton. He's going to close it up as soon as he can, but Chris Noble's going to try and interfere with that if he is able to, and he's pulling along. Blake Fitz behind him.
Yeah, Joe got a belter start, but Mitch McLeod was able to pull that in pretty quickly with the slipstream and potentially that cornering, and I think he's going to have a go here on the inside line. Mitch potentially has a bit more pace than Joe. Raw pace round here. Just looking off qualifying, although Joe's had a pretty good pace all night. And then Rayhana sitting in behind. Hasn't had the greatest of starts, but I wouldn't put it past him to make that time back up and get that entire pack behind him right back in this race. Ooh.
That was the wall for Baldwin. He's managed to keep it together, but there was definitely contact there. It definitely cost him some momentum, and that's why McLeod has been able to pull out a 3 attempts lead on him. And now Baldwin will be turning his head around like an owl to try and see Jackson Rayhana, because the threat is now from behind rather than looking at Baldwin in front of him. And indeed, Rayhana has only taken one turn to get past. He's pushing right up against the door panel of Baldwin, squeezing him towards the wall. Plenty of safe racing there, leaves him plenty of room. But a hard move from Rayhana. He wants this victory, and he's going to have to get past Baldwin to do it. And in fact, he already has. As we look at Aiden Schultz, he's effectively at the back of what appears to be the lead pack of 7 cars. And I think it is just the 7 leaders. I don't see any lap traffic in there. So as far as we are concerned on the broadcast, it is game on for all of these cars at the front of the field now. And good job again by the lap cars to get back down through the pack without causing absolute bedlam and chaos, as now Patton becomes the next driver looking to gain at Baldwin's expense. Close. Baldwin is getting to that wall on exit. He needs to be really careful of that. He's already had one brush. He may not survive a second.
Yep, he's taking a fair few risks here, Joe. He does take risks. He's a hard racer, and he's quite happy to put a few risks here and there, but he's in a really good position at this point, so I would hope that he doesn't hit that wall. But these 2 cars behind are coming through with absolutely mega pace, with Noble on that inside. Schultz deciding to take the high line while these other guys take the low to medium line with that. And yeah, look how close he is on that exit. Using all the track is exactly what you want to do. You just don't want to trip over it. But he doesn't also have a whole lot of room to play with those cars on his inside. Actually, very good track for racing, isn't it, Liam? There does seem to be a good balance on all those lanes as far as pace is concerned.
Yeah, it's interesting how when the cars are at appropriate width for the size of the track, you get good racing. I wish more motorsport series would take note of that. Anyway, it is also Super Speedway. Super Speedway is almost always fantastic racing, because the gap in times between the cars is very
massive
small.
massive run by Schultz here. He's going to get a couple of spots.
Two positions, might be able to turn it for free if he can get down the inside of Aiden Schultz, or if Aiden Schultz just washes up a little bit, doesn't turn it into free. He's not going to be quite ahead of Patton, so I don't think he's going to be able to tuck in behind Noble either. So we're going to continue to have this free ride affair between Noble, Patton, and Baldwin. And as you all know, free is a bit too many people to have in a in such intimate company. And Yeah, there you go. We go back to a couple with Noble and Patton in third, in fourth, managing to retain their position ahead of Schultz. Really good opportunity there for Schultz, but couldn't quite make it stick.
No, it's difficult to stick that 3 wide, really, particularly on that inside, because you do get constricted so much on the exit. But these guys doing a good job. You saw a pattern there, sort of bouncing between the 2 cars. Not sure how much room he was able to leave on both. And there's a car just dodging to the inside there.
That is Patton who's had to do that. So it looks like he had maybe a bit of a twitch or a bit of a moment and just dived to the inside and managed to recover it, but it's cost him a heap of momentum and positions with Aiden Schultz, the big benefactory. And it looks like he has now made 4th place his own, with Chris Noble currently holding the last spot on the podium. And we've only got 4.5 minutes left of this one, so not many laps to go. It won't be the 14. Ignore the lap count. We are definitely going time certain here. McLeod still retains the lead ahead of Rayhana, and then Noble is a full second behind Rayhana. So there is a battle for the lead, and then a much more intense battle for 3rd place, which Chris Noble has been leading since the restart. And the his main threat has swapped and changed. And it's Aiden Schultz at the moment as he dives to the inside, making his presence known. And he's currently in 3rd spot, but they will be side by side as they come out of the corner with Noble on the high line. And Patton will, I wonder if he'll tuck in behind Schultz now and try to almost push him ahead of Noble to get the 2 of them into 3rd and 4th so that they can do battle in a lap or 2 times. Certainly sticking behind them, but no evidence of anybody really being brave enough to go for the bump draft at this point. And then you got Blake Fitz just lurking a little bit behind these guys at the moment. And yeah, there it is, Schultz well and truly in 3rd place now as we cut back to Lavis, who is in 9th place, and looks like he's just got past Mark and McNamara.
Yeah, good recovery run here from Lobesy. He was right back in the pack after that incident earlier. Oh my god, they're 4 wide. Or was it 3 wide? Yeah, no, pretty much 4 wide. Look at that. Yeah, so these guys, clearly they've decided they're going to fight for 3rd place because this has allowed Mitch McLeod and Rayhana to walk away with it with only 3 minutes left on the clock. So I can't imagine there being really any more than 6 laps in this, probably 5. But they're now 1.2 seconds ahead. Haven't completely made it, and actually Rayhana is dropping off the back of McLeod, so I don't know whether or not he's saving some tyres for a final run or he just does not have the pace. But he was 0.3 slower in that last lap, and is now out by over a second behind, so he could get caught by this pack too. Maybe it isn't actually a fight for 3rd place. It could end up being a fight for 2nd if Rayhana doesn't get his act together.
I think he's got the pace on this pack. I don't think he can run Mitch McLeod. As you said, he's dropped a bit behind, but he's still pulling away from this pack. So I don't think we need to ring the alarm bells yet. He could just be settling for 2nd, called off the dogs and said, you know what, I'm just going to bank 2nd place here rather than do something silly trying to get 1st. I mean, just look at the pace McLeod is running. Only man in the 41, so he's also just running an absolutely spectacular pace. It may be more what Mitch McLeod is doing than what is Jackson Rayhana not doing, if that makes sense. Aiden Schultz still in 3rd place. Patton is now his main rival in 4th, with Noble and Leah, the teammates in the AlphaTauri livery, in 5th for Alpha Racing Team. And then Blake Fitz, the last car in this battle pack with Lavis. Now ahead of Baldwin. So Baldwin's really slipped back, not able to make the most of that 1st place position at the restart, and looks like he's just having trouble keeping the car going around at the moment. So I think he'll do well to reach the end of this race. Only a couple more laps to go.
Yeah, it's only a 2-lap tyre delta, but yeah, maybe he could have burnt them up a little bit too much in that early stint where he was really pushing, or he's just sort of found himself out of rhythm. There is a bit of rhythm to this circuit. That was close. Guys really hunting now. They know there's only 50 seconds left on the clock. It's game time for them all the way. So we're at this point, but these battles are going all the way back down to 29th as well. And we'll go back up to this front pack. McLeod is out by 1.5 seconds on Rayhana. Rayhana is still almost a second ahead of Schultz, but wouldn't want to be too much closer there. That time fluctuates quite a lot, given he seems to have a tendency of using that low line instead of the high line. That seems to be his happy place. So you'll see that sort of move in and out from a delta perspective, which I'll turn on for you so you guys can see as well. But he's not catching Mitch McLeod. There's no doubt about that.
And we hit 50 minutes, and the white flag is waving, so this will be the final lap of the race. Mitch McLeod has a 1.5 second lead. All he needs to do is get it around 2 corners, and he will take the win here tonight. Jackson Rehana's looking good in second. Nigel Patton is only a 10th of a second behind Schultz. There it is, towards the back of your screen. Schultz desperately trying to hold on to third place. Patton desperately trying to take that away from him. This is what happens when you have conflicting goals between two people. You get beautiful dynamic situations like we get in motor racing. Nigel Patton pushing Schultz around the final corner. Can Schultz hold on? Can he pressure him into a mistake? Mitchell McLeod sweeps through the checkered flag to take victory. Then it's Jackson Rehana second. Schultz holds on for third. Patton finishes in fourth. And Noble Lear, Fitz, Lavis, Stride, and Otto in close company in the top 10. And you see them go 3 wide across the checkered flag there. Ooh. So there you go. That is the entirety of the field across the line. A fantastic win there for Mitch McLeod. Jackson Rehana up at the pointy end the whole race, but just not quite able to convert that into victory, with Aiden Schultz making late moves to get onto the podium. And we've already been joined by the first of our drivers tonight. It's Nick Fodiadis. Nick finished in 15th. Can you just talk us through your race?
Yeah, thanks, Liam. Look, the Bailey Ladders car was quick. It's just I didn't get the rub in qualifying. The track was getting hotter. And then, yeah, got spun in the middle of the race there, trying to get past my teammate who bashed the wall. And then, yeah, it's just a recovery job after that.
Yeah, it's really important when that happens, isn't it, to make sure you stay on the lead lap, because it's not overly difficult to make positions, particularly if you're good in the trucks and you've got reasonable pace. But once you go a lap down, it really ruins your race. So what's your mindset when you get involved in an incident, and how you're trying to sort of offset that need to try and stay on the lead lap with also being safe and clean and make sure you don't do anything stupid that could wreck somebody else's race?
Oh, look, when stuff like that happens, the personal trainer in me kicks in, so I always turn it into a positive. Well, yellow's out. I can go get fresh tyres now. I'm at the back of the field, but I'm going to have a full tank and fresh tyres ready to get going again. So I'm pretty happy with 15th after all of that. I don't know where I started. I think I was like 18th, so net gain of 3. But I was just sitting back and just taking it easy to the middle part of the race. I was in the top 10, and I was just seeing all the dumb stuff happen up front and just taking it easy. And yeah, well, just got to flip it on its head and just try and get the best positive out of it.
It's an opportunity to go overtake cars, which is the best part of motor racing, right?
Well, yeah, but they're just so close. The fresh tyres are good for 2 to 3 laps, and then you kind of level out again. So, yeah, I mean, using your noggin trying to get ahead, using the grey matter to try and get ahead. So, no, I quite enjoyed that. I like that place. Apparently, via the club, only half of us who started the season like that place, but it's a great track to race at. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the numbers do next week, if they return to something approaching the lofty heights of the last 3 weeks, or whether they continue on in this vein of about 40 cars where we can have everybody in the single split.
Yeah. Well, I mean, next week we're going to Alabama, so and it's flat out Brussels sprouts, so we'll see some dumb stuff happen then. As we know, safety cars breed safety cars.
Home sweet home. Yes, that was a deliberate reference. And just before we let you go, second episode of the podcast came out. Just talk us through that and the reception from the first episode.
Reception from the first episode, I'm getting a lot of positive feedback on that one. It went very long. My main goal for the second episode was let's try and condense it. Let's get it under an hour, and go from there. And we're gonna build on that now. So ideally an hour. We've got some special guests coming up anyway. and we're trying to cover off everything. It's either going to be bi-weekly or weekly. Try and get all the sponsors in there. I mean, all the sponsors are sponsoring a series anyway. And yeah, it's just another way to reach the member base of the GSRC, but also get the names that you see at the top of your screen out there, or the bottom of your screen as well.
Yeah, of course, none of this happens without them. So giving another platform to provide them value is always a good thing. And look, who doesn't want to hear about themselves in podcast form? Obviously, it's always a bit of a rush when other people are talking about you in a positive light, not so much when it's negative. Any plans to bring it to Spotify or other platforms, or is it just on YouTube at the moment?
I think it's Adam's lining it up to put it on a Spotify account. I'm not entirely across that end of things. All I know is me and Joe get together. I got these topics. Let's talk about them. Our passion for motorsport is quite large. Our history of motorsport is even bigger than that. And participation in motorsport in different forms and shape and forms as well. So, I mean, this all stems from a love of motorsport. And yeah, it's just bringing that to the people. Each week Joe's got a tip of the week to help with your racing, and each week I've got something to look out for, either a book or a YouTube or a race or something of interest. So, yeah, we're gonna try and get together hopefully this weekend. If not, it'll be the following one.
Yeah, excellent. Well, good luck with that. Thanks
Appreciate
for joining us. Once
the broadcast,
again,
boys.
And good luck with your racing for the rest of the week.
Thank you. You have a great night, guys.
All right, we'll move on next to Aiden Schultz, who managed to make some late moves to get into third place. How exhilarating were those last sort of 10, 15 laps after the final safety car? If you're there, Aiden. Push to talk.
If I had a beer for everyone who didn't turn on push to talk, I'd be very drunk, Liam.
I say that's usually my magic word, and then suddenly I hear things. Mitch, have we got you?
Copy. Not drunk enough yet.
Oh, excellent. Well,
Clearly.
you've got the best excuse to get drunk because you won the race. What are you
I'm
doing?
here. Sam, stop throwing me under the bus with this push to talk. Anyway, Mitch, you go, mate.
No, here you go. Or let the broadcast do the broadcasting, whatever.
You can wait. You can wait, Aiden. We'll continue with Mitch now we've introduced him. Sorry, Aiden. Not that we don't love you. We do love you. We will get to you, but you just, that second love at the moment. No, we're talking to race winner Mitchell McLeod. You were up towards the front for most of the race. When did you know that the win was going to be on?
Not at all. I didn't do enough laps in practice, and I fluked a quali lap. And I thought, all right, I've got some time to learn the track and how to go fast and look after tyres here. But I think it was a second safety car. I got caught up in that and dropped down to 27th or something. And I was like, well, this is over. And I got a little bit lucky, I think, and sent some moves and used a bit of my tyres, but got some track position. And then when it all, actually, I think the second last safety car, I didn't take fuel. I don't know if that changes anything. It might have had a little bit more pace than some of the other cars around me. But I figured it was going to run shorter than the actual the prescribed laps. So if I run a little bit lighter, I might have some more pace past some cars. And don't know if that was it or not, but ended up working out all right.
Well, we did see in that final stint that Rehana wasn't able to live with your pace to the end of the race. So you may be on something that may be why we saw that difference of a couple of tenths between you and most of the field. Which, if so, that's an absolutely blinder on strategy.
No, well, it was the stint before that. The last safety car, I definitely took enough to get to the end, but obviously having the timing and whatnot to say, like, it adjusts for the time left, not the laps. So I knew that I could take a little bit less, and that's why I sort of left it for a stint to try and get through up to the front. But yeah, I definitely caught him on that stint, and I was sitting behind him seeing what he was doing and trying different lines. And towards the end of that last stint, he was running out of tyres. So I thought to myself that, I should definitely just focus on my lines, not use my tyres. Even if I could see him catching me, just do my thing and hope that I've got something to fight with at the end. And as it turns out, I was able to pull away. So yeah, worked out well.
Well, yeah, I'd say it's worked out absolutely splendidly, taking home victory. And where else are we going to see you racing in the GSRC before the week's out? Or will we not see you into next week?
No, probably won't see me for a couple of weeks, I'd say. I'm yeah, goddamn work getting in the way of commitments. So, I'm gonna have to stay away for a couple of weeks, I think.
Tell you what, work is. Yeah, I don't want to talk. Let's not talk about work at the moment. It's not my favorite thing right now. But wouldn't life be awesome without work? Why do we always have we get automation with factories, we get automation with AI, and then still everybody has to work full time? I just don't get it. Let's just all agree that nobody wants to do this, and let's stop it.
If I could get the same amount of redemption for returning McCanns as you do for paying for them to begin with, I'd be set.
You would be set indeed. Look, go enjoy the rest of your night. Go have whatever libations you may want for the rest of the evening, and we'll talk to you again hopefully in a couple of weeks' time.
Too easy. Thanks, guys, again. Have a good one.
Take care. All right, Schultzy, we're with you this time. How are you going, buddy?
Yeah, good evening, Banksy. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm much better now. I'm at the stream and not at work. A really good race from you to get into the podium positions. Just talk us through those last sort of that last stint.
It wasn't really about last stint, mate. I qualified out of P2 and got caught up with someone getting off the outside wall early and went back to 30 nowhere and just try and navigate my way through the whole way through. So in the NASCAR trucks, I've been terrible this season, so it was good to be able to make my way up there. But Mitch was quick, and I think I had the pace to probably win it. But you know what this is like, man. In the two splits, the amount of competition we've got in the NASCAR trucks, it's just good to have a good result, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the same up and down all of our series, right? It's if everything doesn't go your way, it's so hard to get a good result because the quality is usually there. I mean, there's only one or two series you'd say maybe a little bit lower numbers at the moment. So yeah, really, really solid result. Obviously, after that contact, what did you think was the best you could do? Top 10? Were you even dreaming of top 10 at that point?
No, still dreaming of winning, mate. Unlimited fast repairs and not unlimited fast repairs, sorry, unlimited tyres. So it was just coming in and trying to navigate through and trying to keep a clean truck. So about damage limitation really, and just end up where you go. I'm really concentrated on the supercars tonight because with drop rounds, I'm still leading the championship after having a terrible round at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve last week. So looking forward to that one. Done no laps of practice too in the Super 3, so not sure that'll go well, but we'll see where we go. But yeah, it was about just a bit damage limitation, just trying to finish and see where we go. It's good to see Mitch and Jackson have a good run. Would have been good not to get caught up in that accident earlier, and maybe had a little bit more green flag running. But the thing I like, NASCAR is not usually a platform on the GSRC, and the amount of people that are trying to or interested in running it, it's been really, really good to the fact that we need to have two splits. The only thing I can say is everyone just needs to relax a little bit and maybe extend the races a little bit longer and get some green flag running. But yeah, it's been good, mate.
Yeah, it's been. I'm so glad the GSRC took a punt on having the series because it's absolutely paid off. It's so hard to predict what series are going to take off, which series are going to be popular, which series are going to bomb, and I don't think anyone predicted the level of success we've had with the truck series, which is just excellent to see. But look, if you haven't done any Super 3 laps, we'll let you go and get some practice in. Good luck for the supercars later tonight, and maybe we'll talk to you again later.
No worries, Banksy. 3 minutes till qualifying, so what can go wrong, my friend?
Oh, that's one lap of practice. That's all you need, right?
Mate, bin it or win it, as they say. But no, thanks for putting on the broadcast, guys. It was good. I'm not even sure whether we were on the broadcast now split, but yeah, thanks for allowing us up here, and we'll chat to you shortly.
Only one split tonight, so yes, you were.
No worries, boys. Have a good night. Congratulations to all the winners in both splits.
All right, so now we'll cross over to the last driver to join us, which is Greg Heaney. Greg, you finished in 22nd at the moment, up 14 spots. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I'm happy with the result. Well done to Dane as well, finishing just outside the 10 from where we both started. I don't know what happened after the first caution. I got shoulder charged off the road, I think, and ended up in the wall and ended up somehow managing to bring it back to where I finished. So happy with the result. I went forwards. I didn't go backwards. So that's the main thing.
Going forwards is the main thing. I always think if there's a green number next to your name at the end of the race, and you've gone up spots, then that's a race that's gone well, no matter what's happened in between.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
How are you finding the trucks? How did you find going between the real tracks that say the real tracks? They're all real tracks, but the road course that we had last week versus the oval races that are more their natural habitat? Do you have a preference between the two?
I'm probably a little more attuned to driving it on a road course, being my my go-to is like a GT3 style driving, or maybe like a supercar or something like that, as opposed to oval racing. So yeah, put me on a road course in the thing, and I'll be happy to keep turning laps and so forth. I found after about 12 to 15 laps of this oval in particular, the front right tire was near on crying blue murder because it just didn't want to be there anymore. And it was, yeah, I didn't have it as bad, but I know Dane was saying that he was getting some really bad push through the corners, obviously sitting in a bit of a draft further up the field than me. But yeah, I was noticing a little bit of push coming out of some of the corners as well. So, but no, I had some good racing with a couple of the boys at the end, fighting for, well, what would almost be regarded as the minor placings. But no, still had some good running at the end. So happy with that.
I mean, it sounds like 22nd would sound like the minor places, but it's also mid-pack, which is generally pretty half decent. So it sounds really weird to be 22nd is mid-pack, but that's just how popular the series has been. Have you got any plans to sort of focus on the oval aspect and try and improve it, or are you happy to sort of just do what you can in the ovals and try and capitalize on the road courses?
Oh, I'm just turning laps in the trucks to not only boost the reputation of the team, get our name out there a bit more, maybe get some more recruits into the team. Like everybody knows, and I think Adam Maverick was having a little bit of a dig at me through Joe on a voice call that Joe and I had prior to the session actually going into qualifying, because it was going to potentially be two splits. Unfortunately, the other server didn't have enough people in it, but there was space in the server that was broadcast. So I was chatting with Joe because I was in one and Joe was in the other, and we're like, okay, well, 3 minutes out, we'll jump back over to the other one. We'll put everybody in the same server. So that way there's only the one server and everybody can race everybody, as opposed to having 6 drivers getting top end points for just driving 65 laps, and probably 65 green laps at that. And but no, it was so yeah, jumped over, and then we've basically continued on in this one and gone from there. As for focusing on it, I'm as I said, I'm turning laps for the fun of it, really.
I like that. I think more people need to do things just for fun. My take on my take on pretty much all sport. All sport's so competitive. I think we should try and do more things for fun. So really glad to hear you're out here for fun and to to get the team's name out there and just be seen and to be racing. Which is, I think it's a really good attitude. But look, thank you very much for joining us in the booth. Hopefully you'll join us again next week. And until then, best of luck with all your racing.
No worries. Cheers.
Awesome. And of course, we're only able to bring you these. Oh, we've got a another driver just joining us right at the death before I was about to say thank you to all the sponsors and then sign off. We got Joe Baldwin with us. Joe started at the front of the field for the final stint of the race, but then fell back to 12th in the end. What was your struggle in that final stint?
G'day guys, good evening, how are you? My struggle was I knew that we were going to need to get fuel to get to the end of the race, and didn't look like anybody was going to crash, and I smacked the wall and damaged the car prior to stopping. So I pitted, got my fuel, got the tyres, the fast repair, and as I was heading to the pit exit, the yellow flag went, so I didn't get a penalty, and it waved me around, and I knew. So basically what I did, I went flat out to make sure I got in front of everybody else. but it was 2 laps at full speed on the tyres, and the tyre delta with these cars here was terrible. Like in the first 3 laps, you dropped from running like a really, really low 40 to 41.1, 41.3s. Like the tyre fell off really quick for those first 3 laps, and then it gradually. So I had a 2-lap delta worse tyre than everybody else around me running through to the end of the flag. And of course, because I was getting past, I was starting to move around and makes it harder on the tyre. So I just cooked my tyres. Yeah, they were already 2 laps older than everyone else's anyway, and I just cooked them through to the flag, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's sort of so disappointing. But when you know all the context around it and you've got good reasons for having dropped down to 12th, like when you say all that, it sounds like you actually did a fairly good job to manage to hold on to 12th in the end. So you're fairly happy with that, given the circumstances?
Yeah, a lot better than the finishes I got in the first 2 weeks of the ovals anyway. I'm actually getting some points. So I'm not sure what happened with the numbers tonight. Like I would have thought whether or not it's a track that not a lot of people have got or they just don't like it. I love this place. Auto Club's one of the best ovals. But we're just shy of 40 cars, so everybody moved across over into the one server.
Sam's got a theory for that, and is it the Logitech challenge tonight?
Yeah, so it's the Logitech supercars tonight, Joe. So I suspect, because I'm also looking at the supercars server, and the pro split is quite depleted versus the second split. So I suspect we've lost a few of those drivers to that. I think your Nixons and that sort of thing would have been involved with that. So
no, Nixon's in our server.
Is he? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought he was on that.
Well, I believe he was. So we've only got 1, 2, 3. We only got 11 guys in there at the moment. So, and Connor is one of them. So,
okay. All right, must be right.
Yeah, we broadcasting the second split tonight, are we? The Super 3s? Because there's 19 over there.
Yeah, so we've got sprint races tonight, don't we, Joe? So,
I believe so. Yes, we do. Yep. So V8 races, heat racing.
I'll be jumping from one to the other. Australia hasn't staggered the servers yet, so it'll be a bit of a quick jump. But we'll start with the Super 3s, and then we'll move into the pros for the feature.
No worries, mate. All right. Well, best of luck tonight, guys, with the calling of the V8s. And it's good to see a race with the ovals actually, was minimal yellows. There was no wild crashing or anything like that. Well, I think it was probably a good night of racing from everyone through the field. You're obviously going to have incidents and stuff, which we expect, but I'm pretty happy with the way the night went for sure. So good, put on a good show for the Orbic guys.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the level of the standard of racing was that as high as you could reasonably hope for a non-oval focused series in a series in an oval on a non-oval focused club. That was very high quality racing. And yeah, best of luck. Are you racing supercars tonight, Joe?
No, mate. No. I'm going to get out of bed at 1:30 in the morning for work.
All right.
So, all right, guys. Best of luck on the call, and we'll see you later in the week. Thank you, guys.
Get to bed. All right. Before we take a break, I'd like to just call out for those of you might have seen in the chat for the Orbic Truck Series, David Lawler running a tribute to his cat that sadly passed away, which I thought was a lovely touch for his car tonight. And you might not have heard him, but my cat was sat on my lap meowing for some of that broadcast. Hopefully it didn't come through, but yeah, it's really sad when you lose a pet. So commiserations to David Lawler, and I hope he's doing all right, because it's a tough time when you lose a pet. Right, with that said, we'd like to thank our sponsors for allowing us to put on this broadcast. We can only bring you the sport broadcasts. We can only bring you live race control. We can only bring you the commentators and all the things we offer at the GSRC because of our sponsors, and they are going across the bottom of your screen now, and they are, of course, Bowens, JJZ Construction, Lobesy Racing, Merchant TGSRC, Spray and Non-Alcoholic Cider, M-Wave, Flash Graphics, and Waste Options. We're now going to cut to a short break before we take you on over to the supercars. Thank you very much for being with us for the broadcast, and we'll see you again in a few minutes' time. Welcome back after that short break. We've had to truncate our break because we've left so little time before the supercars get underway at Twin Wing Motegi. It wasn't long ago that the MotoGP were there, but now we're there with significantly bigger vehicles when we take the supercars around this iconic Japanese circuit in the Tochigi province of Japan. Definitely more well known for its motorbike racing than its car racing, but we'll see how the supercars go around there. And they are literally just about to get underway, and they are going green just as we cut to them. Perfect timing, Sam, except for the fact we couldn't get through the the starting grid because we got a bit caught out with how little time we had. But Jamie Christensen, apologies, leads them away, and there's contact immediately as they try to go freeway for the first corner. Free wide does not work in supercars, and Kurt Thompson, Joe De La Rosa, Brett Badbury all found that out. Then Colin Bennett's just gone off track. He's the one in the gravel. He's dropping down all the way to 17th here as there's fast and frenetic action right from the off. That's another car, Jared Gilbert, going over. And there's two cars spinning into either side. That's Dave Oliver and Jared Gilbert. One's gone to the left, one's gone to the right. They both ended up back on the track, but somehow not being collected by anyone else. There's more smoke coming out of that car than there was out of a 1960s F1 driver's mouth in between races. And we are still racing here. Aiden Schultz, the big manufacturer, he's up 11 spots from 17th to 6th. Race on. Sam King, who I'm board with now, he's in 5th place. He's ignored the livery on the corner bottom left. That's not loaded properly. He's in this gorgeous metallic purple livery for full send. Motorsports, he's chasing down Brett Bradbury in the Castrol Racing entry. Daniel Snedden has just pulled into pits from 3rd place, unless my timing screen is lying to me.
No, that's right.
Not sure what's brought that on. Yeah, that seems like a really odd call. You've got to think that's strategy, because if he's carrying damage, there's no way he's made it there and felt like he's had to pit. Surely you just keep going on around in 3rd with only 15 minutes left. Right, for those of you who are a bit confused what's going on, this is the Super Free race because we are sprint racing tonight. We have the short 15 minutes race, and then we have the 25-minute feature race. We'll be crossing over to the Super 2s for the feature race, as is standard practice and has been for a few seasons now, where we have sprint races and a split grid across 2 servers, because that way we can bring you a bit of action for everybody who partakes in the GSRC, and we do split. And then when we are on single race formats, we try to bring you probably 1 or 2 more of the main split, but still try to bring you 1 or 2 of the lower split as well. Jamie Christensen, wow. Just wow. Pulls out a 3-second lead, was 3.5 seconds faster than Kurt Nommensen on the last lap. Absolutely bossed it on lap 1. Kurt Nommensen's in 2nd, Brett Bradbury's in 3rd, and Christensen's got a good gap from Nommensen, he's got a good gap from Bradbury, but then Bradbury is at the lead of this train, so he's in that Pepsi Max Castrol vehicle. He's got Sam King behind him, then it is Aiden Schultz and De La Rosa, and those are the 3 cars in our battle pack, with Jamie Barker just a little bit detached, but certainly close enough that he can insert himself into this battle and pull Sean Reese and Drew Collins along with him.
So, a little bit of intel. So, Jamie Christensen, I'm not sure if he's not raced supercars before, but he is an 8.8k I rating. So, I won't be shocked if he does take home the Super 3 V8s tonight, Liam.
Yeah, 8.8 is lots. That's got to be up there for the most in the club, right? Have we got any 9Ks?
Would be. Deek isn't around anymore, really, so and he was the highest because he's one of the highest in the world, at about 11k. But yeah, I would say that's probably the highest that we have in the club. I think Denchi's still only 7k or so. Yeah,
Denchi, multiple-time champion. I mean, we could at this stage we could probably just give him the trophies for the Porsche Cup and the GT3 at the start of the season. Such has been his dominance in those. Although he has had it not quite all his own way last season. But he is a very, very good racer. And then Jamie Christensen has got even more than him, which shows you how good Christensen is. And he is, destroying these guys at the moment. But it is good to have something to aim for. And he will certainly be in the pro split next week. Congratulations on your increase. And that's a fantastic livery with the weird eyes. And the dog in the back, so racing for Vermilion Motorsports, definitely not running a Vermilion livery tonight.
No, he's just backing Harry the dog from the back by the looks. That's good, actually. I like the eyes for the for the headlights as well. This is fun. Pity we won't see you anymore tonight, Jamie, because it's going to be pretty boring with you up so far ahead.
Normanson doing an admirable job to try and keep him in his eyesight. I can't imagine he's going to close in, but let's see what he can do. He's certainly not going to give this a 1-up yet, and we never know if Jamie Christensen's going to make a mistake or something or the other. It'd be interesting to see how he goes in the feature race with the reverse grid top 10. Bradbury is in 3rd place. He's fallen 2.4 seconds behind Kurt Nommensen, so that challenge for 2nd place is not materialising, and he is falling further back. But this battle for 3rd place rages on, and we're looking at the back end of this with De La Rosa for Valhalla Motorsport. Mark McNamara has just made a position on Jay Stern, further back for 14th spot. Big losers so far are Jared Gilbert, who's down 11 spots and a lap, and Dave Oliver, who's down 15th, so he started 3rd and he's an 18th. And look for him, try and mount a recovery, although he is 14 seconds behind Nigel Patton. So he's got his work cut out for him as we watch Aaron Gilbert. He's trying to get around the outside of Jay Stern, his colleague in Valhalla Motorsports, and they're going side by side down to the first corner. It's a big braking zone. Can he pull a swift one around the outside, and looks like he's going to be given plenty of room by his teammate. And yes, he sweeps around the outside, keeps it on the track, and that is the position for Aaron Gilbert ahead of Jay Stern, and into 15th place he goes. Next on his list is Mark McNamara, 1.25 seconds up the road, as Schultze and King swap positions, and there's contact there from behind. Does really well to get a hold of that one, does Schultze, but it's given King a bit of a run, and he's, well, was side by side, has turned into a half-second gap with Joe Della Rosa, I think, the car that gave Aiden Schultz a little bit of a love tap there.
Yeah, so he backed right off and let that place continue, so that's good. All's fair in love and war with that one, but well done for catching that little slide as well.
Really hard to do that, particularly because you're not expecting it. It's one thing to sort of brace for contact behind, know it's coming, and then react to it. But if it's caught you completely unawares, it's so hard to react and save it, and he's done a fabulous job to do that. As Christensen continues to demonstrate his pace with 120.5. Be interested to see how his complete race time compares to those in the sprint race in the Super 2 split. We are expecting a little bit of a depleted Super 2 split this evening because there is another high-profile supercars race going on, which I think will trump this for a lot of our supercars protagonists. So we might see some interesting names in the pro split, able to try and sneak some points while some of the big dogs are away. But we're going to continue to watch Super 3 for the remaining half of this race. Good to see that this battle pack from 3rd down to 6th is not showing any sign of dissipating. As we look, Daniel Snedden going to try and capitalise on a mistake from Colin Bennett to take 11th place, and does so. So he's now down 4 spots from starting spot and on the fringes of the top 10, but he's going to have to make 2.5 seconds to Tristan Coach if he wants to improve it anymore, and just snatches his break just a tiny bit there, runs a bit deep, was able to hold on to his position, and that is Colin Bennett and Martin Lipsky behind him, as Sean Rees makes a move past Jamie Baker for 7th spot, a little bit higher up the grid. And there was Joe Della Rosa off track in the braking area, left-hand tyres on the grass, but manages to keep pointing a straight line and get around the corner. Did well to recover that, because that would not have felt pretty. Not sure why he was on the grass. Looked like it was just self-inflicted and drifted a bit wide, but there could have been contact. We're just going to see what's happened here between Jay Stern and yes, contact and then being slammed into. Not ideal. And looks like he's got a fair bit of damage there as well, because those tyres were not pointing in the right direction. This is what happened on lap 1 with Jared Gilbert and Michael Latter, I believe. That's Dave Oliver's crash. He's just been spun by the car on the outside. And that's why he's currently in 15th spot and down 13, and this is all the time he lost. He has ended up better than the other car, though, given the lack of smoke coming out of Oliver's car. So we're looking at Aiden Schultz, who's currently in 8th place, with Drew Collins breathing down his neck. And then behind Collins, Coach and Snedden.
So Schultze had a ripper start and made up a bunch of spots. He's still up 9, but he's fallen back a bit since then. So whether he's overheated things a little bit or just gotten out of rhythm, I'm not sure. But he's certainly under fire from these 4 behind, Kosh, Collins and Snedden. That there is still a battle for 2nd place.
There is a battle
place,
for 3rd place. That battle pack has sort of devolved into 2 now. So you've got Bradbury and King in a battle for 3rd, and then behind them, Della Rosa leads the pack from 5th down to 7th, with him, Reese and Barker in that pack, and then Schultz is a further 3 seconds adrift. So that battle pack has kind of split up for now. Now we're 2/3 of the way through the race. Interesting what you mentioned there about Schultze, where we split things up. So one of the things we do here when we talk to drivers in between races or after the round, and we ask them, you know, where does the pace come from? A lot of the supercars drivers say, the faster you try to drive them, the slower you go. You've got to sort of coax them, be gentle with them, and let the speed come to you. Don't go looking for it. So I do wonder if Schultze has gone looking for speed, and it's just pushed it a bit too hard, and now has to back off even more to try and bring the tyres back to him.
Well, that explains why I'm rubbish in them, Liam. I'm trying to actually drive them quickly. Because But even when I try and drive them slowly, they're slow. So, you know, go figure. Well done to these guys that are out there. Christensen's doing 2 seconds a lap faster than these guys at this point. He's 12 seconds out in front. So he's obviously locked this down, but this battle remains. There is, what have we got? 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes on the clock as they go over the line. So they're doing 1 minute 20 laps. So probably 3 laps to go.
Yeah, I don't think you'll find many bockies offering odds on Christensen at the moment, because I think they've already they would have already paid out at this point. So comfortable as his lead, it just shows you what an alien can do in these cars.
He's not an alien. He's just an 86 doc. He's just been pumping up his eye rating with 86s. It's just that's all
so not an alien. All right.
He's a wobbler. Don't worry about him.
He's a wobbler, right?
Yeah.
Well, it does show you how much speed there is in these cars, and how much the drivers really do make a difference. You know, we're so used in top level motorsport talking about it's all the car. But the driver makes a huge difference, because some of these guys...
Aiden's finally sent it off. I think that's the finding some pace aspect has gone a little bit too far for Aiden here. Let's see what happened to him. Looks like
Schultz is a decent driver. Aiden Schultz is a decent driver, and he is down in 13th in the second split. And 2 seconds lap slower than Christensen. He's a decent driver. A lot of these guys are decent drivers, and they cannot even get close to Christensen, which shows you how much pace there is in these cars if you've got a driver that just really knows how to get the most out of them. That was bold, putting 2 wheels on the grass.
He did get help.
Braking.
He did get help.
That was a beautiful slide. I mean, it's not the fastest way around that corner. It was a beautiful slide. Yeah, it did get help. A little bit of bit of loving from behind, which was non-consensual. Brett Bradbury there, still defending in third. He's going to be sick of looking in his mirrors at the end of this one, but he's going to be happy that he's only got a couple more laps to go, and he will have his prized podium for the sprint race.
Yeah, great job by Brett here. Like he's been holding it off. He's been really consistent, just putting in his laps, doing what he needs to do. It's going to be really difficult for him to hold it off. Also, yeah, shout out to Kurt. Someone jumped in chat before. He's 5 seconds up the road from Brett here, so doing a brilliant job holding on to that second position. There'll be a reverse grid for these guys afterwards. We won't see it, but gosh, yeah, King's right on the back of Bradbury here, trying to find a way past, but he just hasn't been able to yet.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if there will be a lunge coming at some point, or if he's kind of decided that he's happy and he doesn't want to try and force the issue, because it is a second race, and whilst the points in this race are nice, you'll always take the points on the table. He does know that he will start ahead of Bradbury in the feature race, where there is slightly more points on offer if he just sits here. So the impetus to get past isn't as high as it would be in the final laps of the feature race. And yeah, he's got a good run through here though, hasn't he? Definitely got a good run, but that swap has just killed his momentum, and I don't think he's going to be able to pull alongside. No, not able to pull alongside into the braking zone. But Bradbury doing an excellent job not defending it there, but it's gone wide. He's gone wide. That's going to allow King through. He's getting his contact on the exit of the corner. He's on his inside. Just took some behind. Not able to get the move done. Ooh, I tell you what, King does want this, doesn't he? He does want this. Cutting the grass is to go for the left-hander there. As we watch Jamie Christensen take a very easy win. Probably one of the easiest he's had in a while. 15 seconds up the road.
Oh, King's got him.
Second lap domination, and they're side by side. They're going to be side by side until the checkered flag. King currently ahead by 0.05 of a second according to the timing screen, but he's on the outside for the final corner. He's going to take a wide line and try and cut underneath. He's going for a spin. No! Oh, he's got it back straight. He's going to lose a few positions, but he's not going to finish outside the points. So where is he going to finish? King finishes in 7th after that late half spin. So it's Bradbury taking 3rd place, Della Rosa in 4th, Reese in 5th, Barker in 6th. Sam King in 7th. Good race, that.
It was.
And now we rush on over to the Super 2s for the pitch race.
Yes, so bear with me. We're going to have to do this pretty quickly, and I won't be able to show the results for this one
So while you're doing that, I will just say another thank you to all of the sponsors that allow us to put on these broadcasts. You can see their logos flicking across the top of the screen and the banner. We got Bowen's in the top right. We got going across the bottom of your screen right now while we're on this intermediary screen while Sam changes the server that he is in. But just for your awareness, they are Waster Options, Flash Graphics, N-Wave Australia, Sprayton Non-Alcoholic Cider, Merch at TGSRC, Lobesy Racing, JJ Said Construction, and Bowen's, the Builder's Choice. Bowen's the most recent addition to our sponsorship reel, so thank you for your addition and your support. Orbic Australia as well, which apparently has not made it onto my list. So thank you to their support.
They need to come onto your list, Liam, because they are our sponsor for the NasTrucks.
They do.
Look up what they do. They're doing a wonderful job for us with the NasTrucks.
Yeah, they've been sponsored for quite a few series now, so they're one of our long-term sponsors. We did get a good mix between a turnover of sponsors, some that have been there for a while. I know Waste Options, Flash Graphics, they've been there, and Orbic, they've been there, I think, as long as I've been involved with the club, pretty much. And then N-Wave's been around for a few seasons now. Sprayton's a relatively recent one. Lobesy Racing, obviously a recent one. Then JJ Said Constructions and Bowen's are our two newest sponsors. And if you are looking to buy any equipment, do get in contact with Daniel Carresa, who is a representative from N-Wave Australia. He's very knowledgeable about all things computers. He can advise you on what gear to get if you're not that way inclined, you want to get a better rig or just upgrade a certain component of your current rig. He can provide advice on that. And there is also an affiliate link in the Discord, which if you go through, we get it looks good for the club and we get a little bit of help from that. So if you do buy from N-Wave, make sure you go through our affiliate link. I haven't looked at the merch shop for TGSRC in a little while, honestly, but I do know that a relatively recent addition was the addition of being able to buy merchandise for some of the teams that we have at the GSRC. So if you are in a team and you want to sell some merch or just get some merch available for the lads and ladies in your racing team, then you can do that through the TGSRC merch shop. So do get in contact, and that can be sorted for you. So we've got these are results from the sprint race for the Super 2s to give you a bit of a scene set for what's happening. Dropman Motorsport taking a 1-2 with Dylan Walker and Colin Nixon. Slade in third, Mikey Hammond in fourth, Lawford in fifth, Cal in sixth, Lavis in seventh, Wong in eighth, Bowman in ninth, McClure in 10th, who will take pole position for the feature race. And then Will Buchanan in 11th, and Chris Stark was not classified. That is, it's a good thing to remember that if you don't finish the race, you won't be classified. So don't always count on getting points just because you're one of the last retirements. You want to get to the end of the race if you can at all, just to keep getting points. Definitely a case of do what I say, not what I do, because I do tend to rage quit. It's not my best quality behind the wheel of a car. As soon as I'm a lap down, I generally just go have my sympathy dessert. Does anyone else do that? Does anybody else have dessert that they keep on hand so that if the racing doesn't go well, they can at least console themselves with lots of sugar? Or is that just me? Maybe most people are probably more into alcohol, honestly.
Potentially. It's I can't believe we actually made it in so quickly. It was I thought we were going to be halfway through the race, but that's wonderful. They're just getting ready to go now. So Sean McClure from Fitzroy Beaumont on the front row, Chick from Wong, Adam Lavis, and the second row, Aidan Kale, Angus Lawford, Mikey Hammond, Jake Slade, Connor Nixon, and the race winner Dylan Walker will be on that 10th row. If we look to the next page, we've got Will Buchanan and Starkey on that final row. Only 12 in the server tonight, but I'm sure they will still put on good racing, Liam.
Green flag. We certainly will, and we got a response in the chat from in the chat for Revolutionary Racing, a hot chocolate. That's my backup dessert if I don't have a real dessert. But that is a good shout. Do love a nice hot chocolate at the end of the night. Shane McClure leads them away from puzzle position. Chuck Fung Wong in second. I agree. Sean looking good there in the lead of the race. Let's see how long he can hold on to it with the likes of Hammond, Nixon, and Fung Wong behind him. Nixon's already up 6 spots, and that's a huge contact there. Huge contact. Aiden Kale involved in that, and Mikey Hammond, I believe, because he's also down into 11th spot now. We'll have to get another view of that as we see Chuck Fung Wong and Colin Nixon going side by side. Nixon getting the move done around the outside. He's looking very, very aggressive. He's already up 7 spots. Can he take the lead before the end of lap 1? He's going to have to go around the outside if he's going to do it. Tries to hold on around there. If he does, he'll have the inside 2 wheels off the track. Manages to hold on. And now he capitalizes on that inside line. Does he? Sean McClure holds on. That now becomes the inside as they sweep around this right-hander. Brilliant racing from Nixon and McClure. Nixon just about ahead. And that is move done. And now McClure's getting... and he goes round. Goes round. I believe that's Dylan Walker looking to get up the inside of Sean McClure. McClure just didn't realise he was there. Didn't realise another car snuck into his inside. Thought he took him behind Nixon. And gets spun round. I don't think the stewards will have much interest in that one. Lavis is into 5th place, down 1 from where he started. So he's having on a bit of a recovery after not an ideal start. Jake Slade is in 4th spot. And a 27.8 there from Nixon on the first lap of the race, 28.8 from Dylan Walker. So Colin Nixon just absolutely spectacular there. Both of them up 8 spots. So they were 1st and 2nd in race 1. They're currently 1st and 2nd in race 2, despite it being a reverse grid top 10 at the end of the first lap. As Sean McClure looks to regain 1 spot ahead of Aiden Kale, who I believe was involved in the first lap incident with Mikey Hammond.
There's damage
Not
there.
sure what happened to Will Buchanan.
Yeah, so these guys are still fighting pretty hard. It is putting on good racing, this smaller version of Motegi. It's obviously starts in a weird spot as well, and comes down to that downward right-hander that's usually towards the end of the lap on the full circuit. But it's a 25-minute race ahead. There will be, I assume, a pit stop, providing there's not some wild fuel-saving strategies. Similar to the trucks, the tyres on these fall off a bit too, so you do get that benefit from a pit stop. Lavis is having an absolute battle with Lawford here, but just gives up the spot for now. He knows that there's pit stops coming and there's cars locking up ahead of him as well. Oh, gee, so that's Wong ahead, who's just getting really squirrely and has let both Lavis and Lawford through with that. I do think he's got a bit of damage there on that front right-hand side of his car. I don't know if that's affecting it too much, but certainly getting squirrely there.
Yeah, I said that was excellent driving for both of them to keep it pointing in a straight line. I thought both of them were going to end up pointing the wrong way, so I think they did a really good job there, showing their skill behind the wheel of these cars. This is, of course, now our Super 2 split, the main split. This is where the fastest guys in the GSRC come to race their supercars, none faster than Nixon and Walker at the moment, as they look to capitalise and continue this 1-2. A little bit surprised they're not in the alternate supercars race that they could have been in tonight. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a story behind that or not. Jake Slade doing a good job in 3rd. He's up 5 spots, so he's also had a fantastic start to the race. And then Angus Lawford is in 4th, and they're the only cars that are up positions. Everybody else is effectively down positions, which is very, very interesting. And are we able to, now the race settled down a bit, are we able to bring footage from that lap 1 incident that I believe involved Hammond?
Yes, yeah, we can. It's just as well with that other series, Liam. It's they go through a qualifying series earlier in the year to actually qualify for it. So if they're, I'm not sure if either of them are in it or qualified for it, but if they're not, then they won't be in it. So this is Hammond's incident here. So he's got, I reckon, Kale on the outside. He hasn't given him room as far as I can tell there, and has ended up worse for wear.
Yeah, easy to do that. Easy to misjudge how much room you're giving to Connie outside, particularly as you're approaching the next corner and trying to sort yourself out for that. And you can see the curbs run out. So as the curbs run out, Kale's tried to keep all 4 tyres in the black stuff, and it just hasn't been quite enough room there.
So this is Beaumont and Kale, the 2 BM boys, dicing. Kale getting past there and trying to make his comeback run. Two drop bear boys out ahead have got a fair lead, 2.7 seconds on Slade behind. I would love to, if this does quiet down, I'll be intrigued to see what Nixon's first lap actually looks like and do a bit of an onboard maybe. Ooh, and that's Hammond behind, getting a few wheels to the side there, but then Kale falling right back, so I don't know whether he had to slow down or he's had to lift off. He's gone off track, so I believe.
It certainly looked like a slowdown, didn't it? Looked very much like a slowdown.
It did, didn't it? I don't know where you get slowdowns around here, but okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
Maybe he knew he was going to retire.
Yeah, so he's had a dodgy pit entry there by the looks. So he just hit the gas? Yeah. Or maybe he's just called it a night.
Yeah, that's not good for the car. Can confirm, cars don't like that. Connor Nixon, still in the lead of this one, has got 8 tenths over Dylan Walker, so that's a live battle between the two drop bear boys. 6 minutes into this 25-minute race. And this is Mikey Hammond. Always fun to watch Mikey Hammond. Very very aggressive driver, always involved in battles. There's always, you could probably just have a broadcast and just leave it on him and you'd get plenty of entertainment. And yeah, right now he's doing battle with Fitzroy Beaumont. And doing a good job to hold him behind at the moment. Fitzroy Beaumont looking very aggressive behind Hammond. Gets a bit of a twitch on the exit there. Keeps hold of the vehicle. This is what we're talking about. So those twitches on exit, what those generally will be just applying just a little bit too much throttle, getting a bit of slip there, a bit of wheel spin. Not enough to send the car into a spin, but enough that you can feel that brake traction. And every time you do that, you're putting more heat into the tyres. And that's one of the things that, you know, we sort of mentioned before when we're talking to drivers, you want to try and, the very fastest drivers, I say, you know, you want to treat these cars really kindly. Let us come to you, and that's a little bit of evidence of perhaps not doing that as much as you could. It's very, very hard to get it right all the time, so it doesn't necessarily mean that they're driving in a manner that's going to wreck the tyres or anything like that, but it might not quite be optimal if that happens too many times. And if you are a fan of the F1, you'll have heard them talking about, you know, traction events and watching slip and just being careful. So when we have tracks that are rear limited, that's generally what you're trying to avoid, is anything like that could spike the tyres. And in fact, with the current Pirellis, you'll have heard them say that sometimes you spike them once and that's it, they're trashed for the end of the rest of the lap. And that's why sometimes we get such big differences in qualifying, because the driver's just done that at the start of the lap and it's basically taken away that peak grip from the tyres immediately, and they've not been able to get the full benefit of a fresh set of tyres for the entirety of the lap. So it's I think that's a great predicament for F1 at the moment. But anyway, this is Supercars, so I'll avoid the F1 talk. This is Connor Nixon continuing to lead for Drop by Motorsport. He's just growing that gap to Dylan Walker over the last couple of laps to 1.4 seconds. So looking really good. Is Connor Nixon for the win here, which would be a strong result for what is a very fast driver.
So I'm just going to see what he does for this first lap, what it looks like from his perspective. Well, not from that perspective. I must not have set that car up properly.
He's using triples, isn't he? Is it?
No, I think that's oh, okay. So there was incident ahead of him, and he's just managed to get past everyone, other than these top sort of 2 or 3, in that first section. So he started in 9th place, and he's up to 3rd by turn 1 with no competition, and then is just able to dice with these guys ahead. So these guys would have been probably 9th and 10th in the previous race, so that just gets a massive exit out of this turn. We'll probably have to sort of stick on the outside here. Has he got it done? Yep, no, he's got it done. And then there's a wiggle ahead of him, and he's able just to go around the outside. So gee, that's about the easiest 8 positions I've seen gained. Oh, he's pushed a little wide there.
You know, before a race, when you sat there and you're starting in, say, 10th position, and you're visualizing what it's going to look like and how you might get to the front of the race, and maybe, you know, it's the night before and you're just dreaming of, you know, what the race can look like. Oh, poor Colin, but then I come through to the front of the field in a fantastic battling race. It never looks as good as that. That was
I'll tell
There
you
was
what,
so much
Liam.
love with that. It was beautiful.
Last night at Coda looked pretty good. I was up 9 spots on the first lap. That was wonderful. And I think that's just because I had cars to follow, because I don't know how Coda works. So I don't know where to go unless there's a car ahead of me. But yeah, that is just wonderful. Just being able to dice through the pack like that, and just also just being able to avoid it. Just take that outside line when everyone gets held up is just yeah. So that's a lovely feeling when you get that right.
Yeah, and Kodo is just a beautiful track when you get it a bit hooked up and you're just making moves, and like other people are sort of getting out singing the S section, you're just sort of carving through them. It's a beautiful track. I didn't race last night because I had no practice and I didn't think I could get around Kota safely without having had any practice. So I decided to bail for everybody else's enjoyment, as much as I would have loved to have taken part, because it is one of my favourite tracks of all time, along with Suzuka, Silverstone, and Interlagos. Just some absolutely amazing tracks on this service, and more amazing tracks coming to iRacing. Looking forward to getting the Bend and Adelaide street circuit, and I'm sure they will be very quickly fixtures in our Supercars calendar once they are in the service in a few seasons' time. As what Sean McClure going down the inside of Fitzroy Beaumont and getting the move. Don't know if Fitzroy Beaumont had looked like he might be able to get the up and under there, but just not able to pull it off. And Sean McClure, who started on pole, launched himself up from 9th place into 8th.
Yeah, so let's just have a quick look. So we do have, so Buchanan and Kale have pitted. Kale's out. Starkey didn't start, so no one else has pitted at this point. Bit of a drift there from Beaumont behind too, but we'll see. I'd imagine if there is a requirement for pits, we'll start seeing that pretty soon as we hit that halfway point, so that they can even stint those tyres. But no one wants to do it just yet. Even those leaders, they'll probably, well, they'll come probably out in maybe 5th or 6th, and that could still be a little risky. And yeah, so McClure's tyres look like they're getting a bit of a workout there, those rear tyres. That's got to be the hardest thing about the supercar, that application of throttle. You just have to be so gentle and prepared for it to really build up on you and get that thing pointed in the right direction. But this is probably the closest battle on field, except there is still a battle for 3rd place here as well. So Slade is up 5 spots, so clearly did pretty well in that first race, and Lawford is 5/10 behind and is stalking him. Whether or not he's waiting for a pit lane sequence, we will find out, but he is making some time here.
Yeah, he certainly is, and just to we watched the Super 3 race before, and we saw the absolute domination of Christensen. He is running lap times that are very similar to Walker and Slade in this race, so he would have been towards the front of the Super 2 race. Such was his pace. And just to close the loop on just how fast he was, as Jake Slade becomes the second of our scheduled stoppers, with Will Buchanan having taken advantage of a pit stop to get himself to clean air a little bit earlier. Jake Slade becomes the first of the front runners, with Hammond also pulling into the pits.
Yeah, so we'll see what this pit time is. Buchanan had a 7.3 second pit time. Slade's done 10.88, so maybe there's a difference in tyres or fuel or both. We'll see where Mikey comes out in this.
And also go along with the 7.33, 10.65 seconds in the end. He was up on the jack.
So I would query if Buchanan will make it home. He pitted on that first lap and was only able to do 7 seconds in pits, so he may either need to fuel save or something else. He's also a lap down at this point, so yeah, he's got problems, unfortunately.
Yeah, not the race he would have been hoping for, nor neither the race that Aiden Kale was hoping for. He was the first time in this one. Currently 6 laps down, so he made it to lap 5 before giving up on the race. Fitzroy Beaumont here trying to get past Jake Slade. So Fitzroy Beaumont is yet to pit. Jake Slade just came out of the pits, So this is a battle for position, but it's a bit of a fake battle for position because Fitzroy will need to pit at some time before the end of this one, as Lawford, Walker, Lavis, and Fung Wong all dive into the pits at the end of lap 12. It'll be interesting to see where they come out in relation to Jake Slade, who was in 3rd place before the pit sequence started.
Yep, so 9.98 second stop for Walker, so slightly quicker than those guys behind. Slade had 10.88 seconds and Lawford on 9.65, so pretty close, within a almost within a second of one another. Lawford with the quickest stop, but probably not enough to change the complexion of this race significantly.
No, he's come out behind Slade, who was in 3rd. Lawford was pressuring him before stops, and I think the gap is even a very similar gap as to before the stop. So I think Slade's done a really good job in and out of pit lane and on his out lap to ensure that he stays ahead of Lawford. Could also be just that the power of the undercut was enough to just keep him there. So it'll be interesting if Lawford's able to make any indent on Jake Slade. Hopefully not an actual indent, because that would be in contact. But it'd be interesting to see whether he can turn this into a real battle before the end of this one. Jake Slade currently tucked under the rear wing of Sean McClure, who started on pole because he finished 10th in the last race, and is yet to pit. He's just got past, and that could be absolutely crucial because there is now a car between Slade and Lawford. So now is the time for Slade to try and pull away, because if he can, it could just give him a bit of a safety gap to Angus Lawford. Whilst Lawford's pace is constrained by McClure. Dylan Walker has pitted, Colin Nixon hasn't, so he's continuing on. So there's a huge gap at the front of the field. And Dylan Walker, if he wants any chance of winning this one, he'll be hoping to pump in the laps to see if he can get an undercut on Colin Nixon, his teammate.
Okay, apparently the stream's named wrong. That one actually is out of my control, so I'm not taking blame for that one. But we'll get the name of that fixed post race. Hopefully it's nothing too naughty, and Adam's put the wrong stream off for a different sort of live stream, but yeah, that'll be okay. Dylan Walker's just done the fastest sector 1, and Slady's done the fastest sector 4. So yeah, Nixon coming into pits now, probably noticing that there is a chance that he does get undercut here, but he will have a fair tyre delta, so I'll be surprised if he can't make that back.
Yeah, he did have a bit of a gap to Dylan Walker, which should mean he was safe. Probably knew he could afford to go an extra lap and retain it. Although Dylan Walker's coming to the final corner now, and will be heading down the stop finish straight before Con Nixon exits the pits. This is going to be tight. I think it's going to be ahead. I think Dylan Walker's going to jump Nixon in the stops, and indeed he has. He is ahead of Connor Nixon. So Connor Nixon, after leading the race for the entirety of the first stint, through strategy, has ended up behind his stablemate Dylan Walker now. He's got to do the hard job of finding a space to get past his teammate at Motegi. But interesting to note, they are running different cars with Nixon in the Ford and Walker in the Holden.
Yeah, so Dylan Walker just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:19.9, so he pushed that lap to get that through. He's 7/10 ahead at this point with the 2-lap tyre discrepancy working against him. There is... we got just 6 minutes left of this race, so plenty of time for Nixon to catch this back up, and he is right on the tail. But it's he will have to push to get past here. This will be an interesting inter-team rivalry.
Yeah, this could be very, very entertaining, and they're the only cars anywhere near each other on the circuit. So after the pit stops, Slade has been able to pull out a 2.3 second gap on Lawford. That was, of course, helped by that time that Sean McClure was in between them. There's Colin Nixon launching a really ambitious move on the inside. There is not the space there to do that. And Walker holds onto the position, but yeah, Colin Nixon, I don't think Colin Nixon's happy that he's been undercut. He looks unhappy. He wants to get past his teammate as soon as he can. There's no need to rush. You've got 5 minutes left of the race. You've got a few laps to get it done. This could end in tears, though. Yeah,
Connor's not one to let someone else be ahead, so he's sticking that nose down. I think it's one of those ones with being a teammate, he knows that he's going to give him room. These moves otherwise might, I guess, end in tears, and if there was contact, it's a very odd move. It's very violent movements at the steering wheel by Nixon here, and really pushing it on exit. So he's quite willing to use those rear tyres to their fullest extent. He does have a tyre delta, but you still don't want to overheat these things. But yeah, he's pushing incredibly hard to get his teammate here. It's he's still got plenty of time, so he probably just needs to sit back for a second and, I guess, evaluate the situation. As Walker gets a little bit of a slide there, and Nixon's going to be able to find his way alongside, but he'll be on the outside of this turn here, and he's going to keep it pretty tight there. But Walker's able to pull back across, but Nixon's right on his tail. So Walker's going to come to the inside, but Nixon's going to come even further to the inside.
On the grass. And Walker pulls the outside, gives him a bit of room, but also taking the rest. Oh, he goes deep! Locks the brake, and that is the position for Connor Nixon. So Connor Nixon just being really aggressive alongside and behind Dylan Walker, and Dylan Walker's just cracked and gone deep into the first corner and given Connor Nixon the position. That was not Papaya rules. I don't know what Papaya rules are. I still don't know what Papaya rules are, but that was not
Papaya rules. My understanding of Papaya rules is race but don't crash. And to be fair, they did race and not crash.
True.
You know, I guess fair play to it. I'm just happy we've got some action here, Liam, quite frankly.
Yeah, I'm just the action's over already.
Yeah, I know. I'm annoyed Walker's gone off. We've got you up for another 3.5 minutes, and everyone else is about 5 seconds apart from one another. So maybe, Connor, if you can hear me, just you know, get on the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, see if you can do it again. See if you can get past him again.
Yeah,
Back and give it another go.
Yeah, do a challenge.
Yeah, I think if Walker comes to the commentary box, we're gonna have to ask him why he decided to ruin the stream by going off and ending that that beautiful bit of racing. Like, why would you deliberately ruin the stream like that?
Yeah, it's disappointing stuff from these two teammates. It's but nevertheless, it's good to have them in the server dicing as it is. Yeah, Connor's in the top bunk tonight. If we have a bit of a look back through the field as well, so Slady's 7 seconds down on these two. Doing a really, really good job just holding on to third place here, up 5 spots. So great points for him this round, and a really solid effort. Just looking through the off tracks, it doesn't look like anyone's got a 0x, so no one will be getting the points for that one. Lawford is sitting there in 4th place. He's 1.6 seconds off the back of Slady here, and so there's a chance he catches it towards the end, but it's probably a bit of a push. But then the gap back to Mikey Hammond is quite significant, 14 seconds, and then another 6 seconds to Wong. So clearly been a few incidents tonight, or just big differentials in pace. But yeah, glad we could have that battle for the lead up front.
Yeah, definitely some incidents. Something's happened to Adam Lavis while we haven't been looking, because he's now way off the back in 60 seconds down. So has he had some sort of incident?
Let me have a gaze, Liam. I'll get back to you.
Excellent. Excellent. Is that a bit of damage on his rear bumper? Or is it just the colours that he's used?
Well, he's into pit lane twice, so that's never a good sign.
49 seconds the last pit time as well, so I reckon he's had a penalty entering pit lane.
I would say so. So let's see what happened when he went into pit lane the first time.
I'm not going mad, that car is missing a rear bumper, right?
Who's missing a rear bumper?
I think Lavis is missing a rear bumper. I might be going mad.
That's good. That's good. Well, yeah, okay, so not his night. Not seeing anything great from that. But yeah, so not Mav's night, but fortunately, because no one else rocked up, he's still going to make a top 10 finish, so he'll be relatively happy with that from a points perspective.
Yeah, that's not what the rear of that car's meant to look like. I'm doubting myself as I'm saying it, but that's not right, is it? Look at it. That's missing a... That's missing
I don't know, like it's a Mustang. They're badly made, so it could look like that. I wouldn't know. It's just, you know, it's stuffed together in some, you know, Kentucky junkyard or whatever, so, you know, I wouldn't be surprised.
In between mouthfuls of KFC.
Yeah, exactly.
Shall we watch Con Nixon's crashes to line, because he's had to work hard for this victory, and 30 seconds left.
Well, not that hard, really. Like he got most people on the first straight.
True.
It's
everyone
he had to work against
his
his own teammate. To be fair, that was some pretty hard racing, and he was certainly putting some effort into that. Some pretty sharp movements of the steering wheel there for sure, and definitely trying to make a few bombs and a few overtaking in a few interesting spots. But no, he's been the class of the field here. He's pulled 2.9 now, 3 seconds on his teammate behind Dylan Walker, and then there's another 7 seconds behind to Slade. So yeah, very strong effort from Nixon tonight. We'll see what that does for the championship, but I'd imagine it is probably puts him right near the top.
I would imagine so. Is a couple of strong results. Yeah, there was a script that was handed out before the start of this one that said let Connor Nixon win, and I think Dylan Walker was the only one who decided to ignore the script and do what he could. Did a really good, started to do a really good defensive job for about a lap there, but then the pressure was too much and he made a mistake into turn 1, letting Connor Nixon through, and that is why he is about to take the checkered flag for the feature race of the Supercars round at Twin Ring Motegi. And there it is. There is checkered red flag for Connor Nixon. Dylan Walker makes it a drop bear Motorsport 1-2 with Jake Slade bringing it home in third place. Really well deserved third place for Slade. Lawford did what he could to try and apply pressure to Slade, but the pace just wasn't there, and finishes in fourth place. And Mikey Hammond is going to recover after the first half incident, bring it home in fifth for Bailey Ladders. There he is. So really big differences in, really big gaps between a lot of differences here. Not many drivers having a clean race, which just shows you the intensity of the racing and the difficulty of this track. But I think we've got some entertainment out of that. Nonetheless, just goes to show that's not always the quantity in the field. It can be the quality as well. But we've already got some guys waiting to have a chat to us, so we're going to bring Dane Snedden and Kurt Nomerson into the booth with us, and I'm going to let you lead away these initial interviews, Seth.
Are you just? All right, well...
I am just, because I'm so kind, you know.
Oh, because you're so kind, that's all right. I'll just do it all, mate. All right, well, so, Kurt, I'll start with you, mate. Really strong first race there, holding on to second place from memory. How was the feature for you?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was battling with Sam King for pretty much the entire thing. Tried to get an undercut, got stuck behind a car that was further back after pitting and lost just that little bit of time. And yeah, but finished P5, so pretty strong result in both races, and I'm pretty happy with that. That's where I was aiming for the entire time that I come into this one.
Yeah, good stuff. So have you done much practice for tonight, or is it a jump in and drive sort of thing for you?
I probably did about 3 laps last night, and then jumped into Martin's server earlier this afternoon for maybe 20 laps, and then, yeah, jumped in and did this.
Lovely. So, yeah, when are we going to see you out next? Are you jumping in tomorrow as well? Am I going to be racing you in the Porsches or the GT4s or anything like that?
Yeah, you'll see me tomorrow night in the GT4, so I'll be out there.
Lovely. Well, is there anyone else that you need to thank or shout out before we jump over?
Yep, I was ready this time. AITT, Sid Speed, Kibby, IR Sidekick, Bunny's Builds, and Shaw by 4.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kurt, and congratulations on a good night.
Thank you.
All right, I'll go in order of who jumped in. So, Daniel Snedden. Now, you... I can't remember. Walk me through your night. I think you had a relatively...
Terrible.
Yeah, okay, there you go. All right, I was
Nah,
just trying
to... first race, me and brand new team, me and Aiden accidentally gave him a little bit of a tap on the rear end. He went straight. Second race, ended up starting, I think, P3 and led the whole way in provisional P1 because there's no way Jamie's staying in S3.
Yeah, no, I suspect someone with an 8.8k I rating won't stay in the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Super 3 somehow. But yeah, what was his lead in the second race there?
Well, it was only 0.273. He slowed down a bit, but yeah, after I pitted, I come out just behind him, so I've obviously done something good with the fuel. But yeah, I was just leading out the front. I was leading by about 4 or 5 seconds for majority of the race and saving tyre.
Yeah, wonderful. So you said you joined a new team. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I was just sitting around one night, and Aiden Schultz was having a chat, and he said, "Yeah, join us, mate." And yeah, jumped in with Quantum. So keen to get in, do some enduros and that sort of stuff with the boys, and just a fun, relaxed environment just to drive.
Lovely. All right. Well, anyone other than your new teammates that you need to shout out before we jump over and get through these?
Kurt Normanson, he had a spectacular night, I think, on the racing. Been watching him come up for a while, so I just wanted to give him a bit of a shout out. Definitely getting faster, and it's starting to stress me out. No.
Yeah, no, he absolutely is. He's been developing. He's been putting in work in his development for a while, so it's good to see that that's yielding for him. And that's a nice shout out from you. All right, well, thank you. Thanks for a good night. Well done.
Thanks,
and we'll see you out there next time.
Will do. Take it easy.
Well, Connor, as I've got you up on screen, we better jump to you. Now, I assume that first race was you won that first race, and you can tell me about that in a tick. But how about that battle for P1 with your teammate there? What was going through your mind with that?
Oh, just some good laughs, mate. Just enjoying just being teammates with Walker. There you go. We basically just had a good laugh at the end. He said, yeah, I'm not going to give it to Easy Nixon. And I went, yeah, too easy. So, yeah, we basically just went at it without trying to kill each other, because I'm sure I don't want Tom Wilkinson on my doorstep knocking, going, why'd you kill Walker? So, yeah, no, it was just a fun night, really. And, yeah, just a good battle with Walker.
Yeah, absolutely was. So I might bring Dylan in here as well while we're at it. So what was your thoughts? Did you think you could hold on to the position, or were you sort of playing with it for that period of time?
I can see your green border indicating talking to Dylan, but we can't hear anything.
I think that's another free Sprite Insider for me, Lamb.
Oh, hello?
There you go, we're in.
Ah, sweet. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I think I was just delaying the inevitable there. He Connor's lightning in these things, so he kind of worked with us in that first race, just so we could keep the guys behind, and then in the second race he was always going to get past, but I just wanted to give him a bit of a challenge and see if I could somehow hold on.
Yeah, but it wasn't to be. It's it was a fair effort. How about that first race? What was the I think it was a 1-2 in the first race as well. Do you want to let us know what happened there, because we were on the Super 3 for that one?
Yeah, right. I think me and Connor started third and fourth off the line, and I think Kale got a poor start and managed to get past Slade. He put up a fairly good fight, and then Connor followed me through, and we held station on the way home to the end there. But yeah, it was a good race, and then obviously put us further back for the second one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've seen a good showing of the DBM boys within the gents this season. What else are you racing and planning to do over the next the coming weeks?
Super 2's kind of unexpectedly become the focus, really. I was planning on doing the radicals, and I still am, but time's pretty tight at the moment with the uni and everything going on. But I'm trying to see how I go in these Super 2s. They're an absolute hoot to drive, so really enjoying it.
Good stuff. And how about you, Connor? You wouldn't teach me the track in the SFLs last night, which is pretty rude, but what else have you been up to?
I felt like an absolute wobbler because I was 5/10 off Dan, and I'm like, I'm not teaching this guy. I can't even drive myself. So
yeah, no. I was 3 seconds off though, mate.
No, I mean, yeah, it's been good fun in the gents. It's a great environment. We've really enjoyed being back here as DBM as a group. Obviously, like you said, we've had a massive showing. I mean, I think it's just, I think the team's just been awesome to be around, and everyone just loves racing with each other and just having a good laugh, jumping in the Discord and just having a yarn and just, giving each other crap the whole time, which is, it's just been awesome fun with these boys. And, so the more we do that, the better we get, and hopefully we'll just be better as a team. So, no, it's been quite good. But yeah, no, the Formulas all of a sudden is probably one of my favourite cars now after that race. That was sensational last night. But the Super 2s have been really good fun.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, the two of you need to shout anyone out before we jump through the rest of them.
Walker or
Yeah,
me?
we'll just thank all the team sponsors, in Cozy, HRS, Revolution Racewear, and I think I'm forgetting a few, but yeah, thanks to the team, all the other drivers as well. Really good competition out there. You guys putting on the broadcast, and gents for hosting the race as well. Cheers, guys.
No problem. Cheers, guys.
I just want to shout out my sponsors on the side. Sorry. Just want to.
Jeez, he's well funded. My God.
Neuropower, they're on my helmet. Race Appeal, they've supplied me with some awesome gloves, gave me a little discount, so appreciate them. Race Industry, sorry. I think that's about it. And yeah, HRS for a big shout out too. Been really good to work with. And yeah.
All right. Well, if there's anyone else out there who wants to sponsor Connor, I don't think he's got enough sponsors at this point to run through. So get in touch. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you out there next time.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the broadcast.
No worries. So I might jump to you, Angus. Fourth position. It's sort of quietened down that race. Maybe walk us through that first race once again for you, because we didn't get to see it. Oh, another Sprite Insider for me. This is great.
It'll be very not drunk by the end of the night, because of course it's non-alcoholic.
Oh, I'm allowed to say it's alcoholic. It just can't be visualised on the broadcast. I think I found a loophole with that one.
It's alcoholic if you add other alcohol to
My
it.
button remapped to something else. I was like, oh no.
Oh yeah, no, we've all got excuses for our wobbles, but nevertheless, walk us through the first race for you, mate.
First race I just botched the start, smoked up the tyres instantly. And from there it was just recovery really. Got up to 5th, did alright there and put me in a good position, but then the next race it was pretty much dodging the incidents in the first lap, which kind of set me back, and then in the pit stops I missed me pit bay, and that put me back behind Slade, and then kudos to them too. Like once Slade got past his teammate was able to slow me up and get a gap between us, so that was well played by that team. Always enjoy racing them, and I was slowly reeling him back in with like a couple of tenths, but might have been a bit different if I was a bit closer, but well played.
Yeah, so we saw, because I did a bit of a replay of just from Connor's perspective of the first lap, because I was trying to work out how on earth he gained so many positions, and just saw everyone sort of check up on the start line. What exactly happened there?
Me and the car in front of me seemed to have a good launch, but I think it was first place. Might have spun the tyres because, it was immediate. I had to check up, even to the point where I almost pushed Maverick all the way through the inside. Just Constantina effect of first place getting a bad start and the rest of us having to try and dodge him.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, anyone else you need to shout out before we jump to Slady and tie this one up?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the guys at Project 36, simrigs.com, Cataclysm, CC Forge, Shockworks, and Quokka mousepads.
Wonderful. Thanks, mate. And we'll see you out there next time.
No worries, guys. Cheers for the broadcast.
No worries. And lucky last, Jake Slade. So, well done on a third position there. I think relatively quiet all in all, because those DBM boys just went off into the distance. Tell us about how your race went.
Yeah, it was pretty good. That first race, I actually had a blinder of a qualifying. Set a new PB for me. I did a 19.4, which was really good. So I started on pole, which has never happened before. So you can imagine the nerves. And a few wobbles on lap 1 meant Connor and Walker went past me, and it was pretty much just trying to play catch up with them. But I was happy just to sort of sit in third. I knew I wasn't going to get past them. Connor was definitely going to block me. but no, it was good. Good fun. But race 2, yeah, as you heard before, there was a bit of a delay on the start, and it was just trying to take evasive maneuvers and get through it. Sort of just picked my way through and got into a rhythm, and just nailed me pit stop. And yeah, didn't really plan on that part with Sean holding him up, but it worked out, so I'll take it.
Yeah, it sure did. So I guess bit of a depleted field out there tonight. You know, I think there's potentially other things going on. We might actually end up combining these servers. There's been chatter of that for a little while now with the supercars. It does seem to, when it comes back very strong, and then it sometimes falls off a little bit. So, do you enjoy having, I guess, less cars to deal with on the road, or does that make it less interesting for you?
It doesn't really matter, I guess. It's just when the fields get up around the the 50 and the 60 mark on some of the medium-sized tracks that it can be a bit chaos. Because there's such a large skill gap between first and last. So yeah, you end up going through quite a fair bit of lap traffic quite early on when you're battling people. So it can be a bit tricky, but I think sub 40 people around that number is probably good to combine a server. So I think I definitely think between the two splits tonight. It could be a different story next week, I'd say.
Yeah, potentially. Actually, where are we next week? Oh, we're at Spa. Okay, Spa for an enduro. So that could actually bring out a few more potentially as well. Everyone has Spa. And it would be that new rescan too. Have you done any laps on that?
Yeah, I've been doing quite a few laps actually. It's definitely not one of my best tracks. So I've just been trying to find the lines and just find the pace around there. You feel like you're driving the wheels off it, and then guys are 2 seconds faster. You just got to try and break it down sector by sector and just try and find the time and just get that accumulative number up. But in these things, it should be a lot of fun. Not much aero and some quite different elevation changes will make for some entertaining racing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and some relatively tricky braking zones and that sort of thing in these sort of cars, I'd imagine, with the elevations. So, well, congratulations on that third place. Anyone else you need to shout out before we jump over for our final sign-off?
Yeah, just the team sponsors, mate. AITT, Soot Speed, Kibby, IR Sidekick, Bunnies Builds, and Shaw by 4. They've all been relatively long-time sponsors for us, and we look forward to getting them some more results in the future.
Brilliant. Well, we'll see you out there next week. Have a good one.
Thanks, boys. Thanks for the broadcast.
No worries. And Liam, I'm gonna pass back to you because you're not earning your salary at the moment. So I'll leave you there to finish off.
Yeah, sorry. I just desperately needed a non-alcoholic drink.
Oh, same. My God, I've run out of water about an hour and a half ago.
Just on my front, I just got in first. I know you did such a good job with the interviews. I thought I'd leave you to it. No, thank you very much for holding down the fort a couple of times tonight. It's much appreciated, and for as always being on the pots and pans and make sure we got some beautiful images and that we're pretty quick to get you to all the interesting action that's taking place. But none of these images could be brought to you at all if it wasn't for the kind support of all of our club's sponsors. They are going across the bottom of your screen, have been for a while. We've also got them going across the top of your screen and the banner. No excuse not to know them by now, he says to himself. And they are Waste Options, Flash Graphics, M-Wave Australia, Sprayton non-alcoholic cider, merch at TGSRC, Lobesy Racing, JJ Said Constructions, and Bowens. And before we wrap up,
Orbic,
Orbic Australia,
our sponsor of the NasTrucks series, that get us our spot every night, Liam.
Yes, Orbic Australia. Thank you very, very, very much. And who is it that's Orbic? It's
Pete Matson. So our former treasurer, he's gotten on board. He's a big fan of oval racing, and he's been a supporter of the club, and Orbic has been a supporter of the club for quite a while now.
Thank you very, very much, Pete. Much appreciated. Thank you, Orbic. Now, before we wrap up the broadcast, let's have a look at what racing we've got coming up for you at the GSRC over the next week. Right, so starting with tomorrow, we've got the GT4 Challenge live from Hockenheim Rink, and that was a two races there. And then we've got the Porsche Cup going to the Barber Motorsports Park. That is a really great track for anyone who hasn't run it. It's got a really great, really tricky combination. It's a track you'll remember if you haven't run it before. So do run that in the Porsche Cup if you are all interested. And then our next broadcast. Is that broadcast Thursday night? I thought it was.
Yeah, it is. I just must not have ticked the broadcast thing.
Yeah, so that will be broadcast. So that will be brought to you live tomorrow night. Then we're live again on Friday for the Downforce Legends, sponsored by Bowens, and that is at Chicago Street Circuit. So that should be fantastic. The SR8's a fantastic car. If you haven't driven them before, they are absolutely visceral. So get out for that one if you're free on Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm mega fanning them on, where were we? It was the New Hampshire Oval, I think it was, and that was great fun on Friday. Highly recommend them.
Then on Saturday, we've got the Mountain Men, as always, and they will be in the Xfinity Series Cup car for 32 laps. So that'll be good fun. That's one of our more casual sessions, the Saturday night Mountain Men, but a good little community there. They generally get into the chat and have a bit of banter while they're racing. So get involved in that one before we get back to serious racing on the Monday night for the first of next week's broadcasts, which is the LMP2 Challenge from the Red Bull Ring, followed by the GT3s from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which should be a fantastic combination of track and car. And then we are back on Tuesday, and then on Tuesday night, not being broadcast, but we have Oran Park in the Skippies. That's going to be spectacular. Looking forward to that one. Followed by Misano World Circuit in the Super Formula Lights for the Wings and Slicks, enjoying its new slot, having moved from Fridays to Tuesdays with the introductory Formula, serving as a nice warm-up, where you'll definitely find me and Sam racing. And then that's it for all the motorsport coming up this week at the GSRC. So please do get involved. Give us a like and a subscribe if you enjoy the stream and you want to keep up to date with all of the GSRC's broadcasts. I'm Liam Banks. Alongside me has been Sam Chapman from us and everybody else here at the GSRC. Have a very good evening.